we're live, but yeah, really don't know. Really don't know. It's not really telling me much of anything. I'm not used to this whole layout and everything, so not even entirely sure what's going on. But while we have a minute, we're gonna, I guess, try and share this around with people. Hopefully it's working. Seems to be working. Okay. All right. Let's see. All right. So it's working on YouTube. It's not showing me on Twitch, which is interesting. Oh, wait. I have no, what the hell? Oh, if it is showing me on Twitch, I can't fully see it. So maybe the people on Twitch are out of luck. So sorry, folks. I'm very new at this. All right. And I have the fold and everything set up. We have so many stories to catch up on. The first one is on March 30th. So we're looking at just over a month. All right. Everything is being promoted places. Well, the YouTube link, because I can't tell if I'm on Twitch or not. Let's actually see if we can. Come on, do the thing, internet. It okay. I am on Twitch. All right. Okay. Cool. Hey. All right. Yes. Hi, Kara. Hi, Tora. Hello, everybody. We have some people here now. Okay. And it's just after 6:01. So okay. All right. Yeah. I guess we begin. So, like I said, while I was getting everything sorted, making sure everything was working, these are all stories I've actually wanted to cover in what should have been like 3, if not 4 Sunday sum up episodes by this point in time. But ain't nobody got time for that anymore. So we're going to just go through this laundry list of stories that people more than likely missed from the end of March until just a few days ago. So, for starters, to get the dystopia, get it started in a nice, good banger, we have a problem with the price of corn, which you can see right here. I'll repeat myself like a broken record, but Americans are not prepared for the food situation to come. American fertilizer price index is up 43% since the Russian invasion and up 233% to $1,270 per ton since the start of the 2021 growing season. Like I can't put into words how ridiculously expensive that is. And, there's corn in everything, right? A great many acres or hectares of corn are used for animal feed and stuff, right? But you also need corn to produce ethanol that goes into gasoline. You also need corn to produce high fructose corn syrup, and that's in just so many different packaged foods and everything. So this is going to affect everyone from farm to table and everything in between. So yeah, and apparently down here it says, for those unaware, corn requires significant fertilizer. Fertilizer is unaffordable and in short supplies. Corn will be insanely expensive and shortages will be coming. About half of all corn is used as livestock feed. Okay, so there we go, right? Nearly half of all corn to keep cows and pigs and chickens and such alive for our consumption. Absolutely unreal. Oh, that's the first time anyone said your name in a stream? First time for everything, eh? All right. Hey. Oh god, though. But like again, fair warning, I am very, very bad at this. Like I am not a professional streamer by any chance. So thank you those of you who are here. I well and truly appreciate it. Hopefully as I do this more often I'll get a bit better. So yeah, feedback always welcome. Let me know, like, is audio fine, stuff like that. But yeah, I figured we should start strong on that story from the end of March about skyrocketing corn prices. So buy your cornmeal and your corn syrup now, folks, because it's only going to get worse from here. Oh, goody. Yeah, I know, right? All right. So next up, Congresswoman Maxine Waters told a group of homeless people in Los Angeles seeking emergency housing vouchers to go home. I wish I was making this up, folks. I well and truly wish, but here we go. Oh, wait, hang on. It'd help if I unmuted it. All right. And what about tomorrow? We're going to come back to that in a hot second. Yeah, there are never any vouchers. Yeah. So, couple things about this story, right? So, off the bat, and yeah, oh, you can't hear the video here. Why is that video not? There's no sound coming through on the video. Okay. That is weird. Okay. All right. I am going to try again. Like I said, welcome to the Scuffed Dystopia stream. If I stop sharing that window, and then if I want it to actually share screen, please share. Are people hearing it now? Can people hear that? Still not hearing, but I clicked to share audio with it. Oh, God damn it. Ugh. Why? Well, that's annoying. Thankfully, there were subtitles, but I guess we can't watch some of the other videos. That's going to be an issue that I'm going to need to fix because, like, it says I'm sharing the audio. Like, I clicked, share system audio. And on here, like, I can only mute myself. There doesn't appear to be anything else going on. So, yeah, I'm going to have to figure that out at some point. That's deeply frustrating, actually. I don't know why it's not coming through. So I guess we'll just stick with the regular news stories. But to answer who had it here? Danny, how do I stay sane following the news as I do? Knowing my limits and also doing brief bits of self-care outside of it. What's not seen are like walks, time with family, going on dog walk with a friend out in like a different part of the neighborhood that I'm in. So like, and usually it's like a walk on the way there for me. So then it's like, okay, this is actually kind of fine and nice, and it cools me down. Um, just like doing the videos and stuff, cathartically venting my frustrations about stuff. That's how I tend to be sane. And also, like, not to horrify people, but there are some stories that I come across that I don't share with y'all because I just think that is too dark. There's no happy ending. There's no actual hope for optimism, or like, there's no point in me sharing this with people other than to be like, wow, isn't the world such a casually cruel and terrifying place? And I feel like we don't need even more of what I already give people in that regard. So there are some stories that I'm just like, nope, you know what? This remains my horrifying nightmare fuel forever. And we leave it at that. But again, I'm very sorry that the audio's not coming through. I'm going to try one more thing to see if it will work. And if not, then yeah, we're going to just have to deal without it. Okay, so for some reason, it's not letting me share the audio when I want to share a separate window. But it will let me share the tab audio for each individual tab. Okay, we may have found a convoluted way around this. All right, chat, let me know.
I want everybody to go home. And I want
we don't got no home. Okay. That's why we here. Miss McKinney, Miss Waters, what home we gonna go to?
Yeah.
You hear it? Hey, okay, all right. Okay, and change my.
Nothing is going to happen anymore today. But what we're gonna, well, that's give
audio. Okay, all right. Well, we're not watching this a third time. Sorry, but now I know. For reference. This is good stuff. And again, I'm Scuffed streamer, so let me catch up on chat here real quick. Where are we here? Okay, audio coming through. Good. Yes. Okay. Several people confirming audio coming through. From Chairman Lamau, boss name, by the way. Hey, Bothered Boy, what's your opinion on the car-centric urban design in North America? Do you prefer walkable cities or car-centric cities like Houston or the GTA? Okay, so I have lived overseas, mostly in Europe, but also in India. And while India loves the car, there are still very accessible areas of certain Indian towns because they're like, we just can't afford all the pollution, all the space for cars. So they make it walkable. Like India, like New Delhi, India recently got a new metro, and it's actually really dope in a great many ways. My main, and like I've traveled to various other areas, but my main time living overseas was in Spain, where basically everywhere, whether it's a small village or even the biggest cities, are incredibly walkable, very transit friendly. The biggest annoyance is like extreme heat and tourists. So yeah, I absolutely hate car-centric culture, which is part of why I do love the parts of Canada that actually are very walkable. Like there are parts of Toronto that are very walkable. I know Quebec City, the like old, like borderline medieval, like Renaissance era from the 1600s or whatever, when it was first being built. That is just gorgeous. It's incredibly walkable. Montreal has the old port, and the nation's capital of Ottawa has like a bit of downtown, but at the same time, these are also North American cities. And that's the weird thing about Canada, is that we're like we're very much American in a lot of ways, but with European flavorings here and there. We actually kind of per capita enjoy a higher public transit use and support publicly than in America. We are trying to get, more people active with biking and stuff like that, national healthcare, like socialized healthcare and blah, blah, blah. But it's very imperfect. We also love our cars. We love our big sprawling suburbs. We underfund transit. We're trying to privatize healthcare and stuff. So Canada is really just like a weird bastard hybrid version of the best and worst parts of Europe and America. It kind of sucks in that regard, but that's kind of just what we have to deal with. Thanks for answering my question. I'm struggling with very, very little stress lately. I'm so burnt out. I should start walking more. Like, I know I've made a video on this way back about like how to keep, how to sustain your fuel or your flame, like your internal flame, to actually deal with stuff, and not, burn out in that regard. And what that's going to be for everyone is fundamentally different. So there's some people where they're living for other people, their friends, their family members, or even their pets, right? Or there's some people who are living just purely out of spite. um it's just kind of like whatever helps sustain you, which is why when people say, I don't know how you do this, it's like, listen, I have just a lot of anger and frustration in me. This is a great way to get it out in a non-violent and a very healthy and expressive way. And I ended up getting a bit of an audience from it. So again, thank you all for being here. But yeah, it is something that I know is going to be difficult for people, and walking can help, but also if you don't live in a very walkable community, that may not be helpful. So, and like, not to, self-medicate and stuff like that, but some other people might find, just like lying down or sitting down on the couch for a few minutes, reading a bit of a book, just quiet time to yourself in your own personal space. If you don't live in a walkable community, or it's not safe or something like that, that is a form of decompression and self-care, is always beneficial, whatever it may be for someone. I literally can't cross the street in my town. It's so annoying because the traffic is bad in town. I can't get across. Yeah, there's a lot of places like that, here in Canada. I know in the States as well. I actually spent a lot of time as a kid in San Diego and Orange County, and we basically drove everywhere except like in the immediate neighborhood, when we would just go to maybe a park, or to go, because like my mom was like, oh shoot, no, can you kids go and get like some oranges and lime or something from so and so's yard? I was like, okay, like, and we do that. But yeah, not exactly, a very walkable state, California, but absolutely beautiful. Love it. Where the fuck are they supposed to go? Yeah. So I said I wanted to come back to like this actual video with Maxine Waters. Now, in defense of Maxine Waters, she's not the worst Democrat. I know that's a low fucking bar to clear, but she's not like a cinema or a mansion, right? Like she's not that bad in that regard. But case in point, in that video, whether you heard it or you saw with the subtitles, just saying, I need everybody to go home, and like, I'm working my ass off in Washington trying to get this stuff. There's no more vouchers. And it really shows the kind of out of touch problem that develops from anyone who goes to Washington, D.C. You then get mired in the whole political process, as it were, of, oh no, like, we need to scratch each other's backs in order to get good policy concessions so that we can expand it. Bigger picture, folks. Meanwhile, as you can tell, dozens, if not potentially hundreds of these people, whether they're there at that current protest or not, are suffering every day with nowhere to go because they don't have enough vouchers to say, yeah, hey, look, here's my voucher to be put up somewhere nice, safe, and warm with a hot meal for the night or for a week or whatever, or to get into like subsidized municipal housing, whatever it may be. It's a problem. And just going back to Washington and doing this again and again is not going to actually help these people. And that's why they're pissed off. Like, yeah, where are they supposed to go? They're just going to go back onto the street where it's dangerous, where they will be brutalized by cops, have a fucking Karen call the cops on them because, oh, that's very unsightly. I don't like that very much. It's like, the whole situation with homelessness is ridiculous, especially when you remember that the problem is actually solved really affordably when you just give them housing instead of trying to provide all these services and putting them in jail or for mental health supports or putting them in the hospital. Those rack up incredible expensive bills, whether you're in America, Canada, Britain. The solution is just give people housing. The at cost, per housing unit per person to be housed is something like $220. It's ridiculously cheap. They just need to get off their asses and build it, or seize it and then just say, yeah, all right, here you go. We got this whole apartment block. We seized it from a developer. Now it's going to be socialized housing or something. And you got some studio apartments. You got maybe like a couple multi-bedroom apartments. Stuff like that would just be way easier to actually deal with. But unfortunately, right, it's no, I mean Washington, D.C., not Washington State. But yeah, like not enough emergency housing vouchers, but you're saying she's going to go back and, work tirelessly for these people in Washington, D.C. It's like, lady, these people need help right now. And here you are trying to get them to disperse and telling them to go home. To what home? Like, it's just absolutely ridiculous. Incredibly ridiculous. But that's not the only story we got, right? We're catching up on a month's worth of stuff. So this is our self-aware-wolves moment from the conservative subreddit. House passes bill capping insulin at $35 a month for patients with insurance. And then a commenter down below said, why did only 12 Republicans vote for lowering the price? 193 of them voted against it? Yeah, they're not on your side. They talk about, we love the working class, the hard scrabble America. You deserve more of your tax money. Second Amendment, am I right? We're all about free speech. The woke schools are ruining America, and that's why, you just need to give the rich people more money, right? They don't realize and don't pay attention to the many times when Republicans vote against stuff that actual Republican voters themselves either rely on or would happily enjoy supporting. And unfortunately, we have people like this guy who seems genuinely concerned and confused by the fact that only 12 Republicans voted in favor of that. It's because they're also in the pocket of big pharma. No matter what they say about, oh yeah, we're against big pharma and that's why we're against the vaccines too. Like that, they scratch each other's backs. Come on, this is how politics works. It's not really that hard. So hopefully that commenter went on their arc. Hello, Mage Productions. All right, hang on. Why did it? Okay, so it's going to be doing this. Oh boy, here we go. Yeah, I'm using Restream right now, and this is kind of ridiculous sometimes to try and do it time after time again. Have you read the Framing 101 article Agent Indian has been sharing around? I have not yet. I don't think I've even seen it, so I'm hoping that I'll see it at some point. Someone like tag me in a Twitter post or like under their tweet if you see it, in case I've missed it somehow. But yeah, I'm hoping this person here actually goes on an arc of self-discovery about why Republicans are not actually on their side. Maybe this conservative is about to stop being conservative for a little bit. Public housing should be a must. I was almost homeless trying to run away from a conservative family. I saw firsthand the homelessness in my town is pretty bad. Oh yeah. Yeah. Not to, date myself too much, but when I was a teen in the 2000s, like the early 2000s, I remember a kind of like mind-blowing moment. In retrospect, it kind of seems cringy and dumb and ignorant, but for me at the time, it was mind-blowing, where I had been talking to this girl outside of school. She was from a different school, like a different friend, mutual friend of ours from like another school across town had actually been like her friend and brought her over to me. Yeah, hey, we're all hanging out together after school, smoking dope, the good casual teenage stuff, right? And we were talking with her for a bit, and I said, yeah, so like, where do you live? Making small talk, right? She said, oh, actually, I've been kicked out of my house. I'm homeless now. I'm like, what? So like, here's this 15-year-old girl who was homeless, and she was kicked out of her house for being gay. That blew my fucking mind. I was like, hold up. Like, and I had heard of other people, being kicked out because like, no son of mine is gonna be smoking and drinking my liquor in this house. And he like kicked him out. Like, that still is very egregious. But hey, here's my only child. Oh, they're gay. I don't agree with that. Well, I'm just gonna throw them out on the street. That for me was an incredibly callous parenting move, and that blew my mind in the worst way possible. You were a teen when? I thought you were my age. No, I am ancient beyond all reckoning. I just have a very youthful appearance. On the other side of this room here, on the like drum side of this basement room, is my own portrait of Dorian Gray. So there you go. What do I think of the UK government's policies on sending asylum seekers to Rwanda? Oh, I've already made a video touching on that. I think it was one of the Sunday sum ups. So go check it out. Because yeah, I don't like it. It's terrible. It's expensive. It's stupid and dangerous. And it's only going to result in more death and suffering that doesn't need to happen. So yeah, that's oversimplifying what I talked about. What's this? A friend of school was kicked out for being gay when we were 15 or something. Unfathomable to me. Yeah, right. Like it seems just kind of so ridiculous, but there are people who genuinely believe that, whether they're conservative, extreme Christian, like something like it's honestly horrifying. Absolutely horrifying. So hopefully this person kind of wakes up to the reality. And what about this? Hopefully now, all right, now I have to do the share the tab audio, right? That's what I have to do. Okay, we're gonna try first. Let me know if you can hear Alex Jones. Okay, unmute. All right, could people hear Alex Jones? And again, sorry, this is also scuffed. Can't hear. Okay, so so I do have to do that, like, So here's what we have to do then. We have to go here and we have to specifically share screen. And then I have to share tab audio. Now it should work.
He goes to a billionaire meeting with 200 guys and
and it's also going to throw me automatically down here in the corner when I want to be equal to Alex Jones. Here we go. Not being able to hear Alex Jones is not necessarily a problem. Why do you hate free speech? Are you some kind of gross neoliberal? Isn't streaming great? I mean, again, I'm new at this, which is why it's the Scuffed Dystopia stream. Thank you all for bearing with me during this. This is like, I know it's not exactly like, oh yeah, we got everything super smooth. Hopefully that will happen as things progress. But right now, oh man, it's scuffed. Thank you all for being here. I well and truly appreciate it. All right, time. And like I've gone through all these before. This is by far one of the wildest things I've ever heard Alex Jones say.
He goes to a billionaire meeting with 200 guys, and the consensus was, we're not going to let people play video games and party all day. We're going to set up a world government. We're going to slowly titrate the dose and poison the public, dumb them down, put electromagnetic radiation out with 5G that scrambles their DNA, lowers their IQ. We're going to cause mass mental illness and a controlled societal collapse that'll then be organized and controlled in the mop-up crew by robots, controlled by the globalist programmers who believe with the off-world entities they're in communication with, that they're going to be given the operation to upload and be in that larger kind of Borg cube system.
Okay,
if they sell the country out.
like what the fuck? Like, dude, I have literally never even had thoughts that crazy, and I have been high multiple times in my youth. Oh my god. Oh my god. Yeah, you just got scrambled by 5G yesterday. Oh, rest in peace, brother. Oh my god. If only he'd talk about the things billionaires actually have consensus on. Yeah, if only, right? No, we can't talk about how they're actually all on the same side. No, it's about how can I make money off of this so that I can hopefully join them and then be super rich. And then I've made it. The American dream has been conquered by me. It's just absolutely ridiculous. You've dabbled in psychedelics and haven't had thoughts that crazy. Yeah, like I literally went on a journey into the cosmos and nothing I saw was as crazy as that. You missed more Dystopia, old Gus, and stories of homelessness, like homeless teenagers when they were 14, 15, how I'm apparently much older than I look. So, yeah, all right, okay, I got something going for me at least. But yeah, and in case you missed the Alex Jones rant, he just went on the most ridiculous rant I think I've ever seen him talk about. So, yeah. But yeah, so that's Alex Jones being absolutely ridiculous. So now let's go to the next tab. Let me share that tab thing. Oh my god. Yeah, this is definitely a little annoying where I have to independently share all the tabs. Nope. Okay. All right. Hang on. Now it's being silly again. All right. So hopefully we're going to get some. What I'll probably do is like I'll just go through most of these, and when we get to a video one, then I'll share it again. Because right now this is we're just trying to catch up on some stories from like early April. So this one I saw, I nearly made a video on this, but I decided to save it as part of my takedown of the cops in New York and Eric Adams and stuff like that. But yeah, apparently the mayor was moving ahead back in like mid-April on metal detectors in subway stations for the New York City Metro, rather than say upgrading and maintaining stations, upgrading the system because New York continues to grow and expand, not dealing with, lowering fares to make the system more accessible to people. Because if you price people out of a transit system, the transit system doesn't pay for itself. And so wasting tons of money on cops to catch fare jumpers and turnstile jumpers is actually only wasting money rather than addressing the core of the problem. So, that's kind of what they decided to spend money on in New York City rather than upgrading, maintaining, and expanding their already increasingly stressed system. Like at this point, I swear to God, New Delhi has a better metro system than New York, and that is sad. Do I have a Discord community? I don't fully understand Discord, so I don't have one yet. I would like to have one eventually so that people can like vent to each other and like share videos and good news and also like what's frustrating or bothering them that day, and even like begin to network and be like, I'm looking for like-minded people in whatever Ohio so that I can I just want to do good leftist stuff. Like that would be nice. I just have no idea how it works or where to start. Even though I'm fairly young looking, I'm very much a boomer at heart. So yeah. You rely on public transit since you can't drive? Yeah. The usual line is that Discord is like Slack for gamers. I also don't know Slack. Like, I see, again, I am not actually well attuned to things outside of like social media and like some internet forums that I frequent. I am very old school in this regard. Hello, Contrafax. Welcome. So yeah, this whole like as Noah mentions right here, the dumbest possible outcome for New York and its subway system was we're gonna put metal detectors. Like, oh God, like I love New York, but the people governing it and running it are just some of the worst people on the planet. So next up, hang on, what do we got here? Yes. Amazon ridiculed for trying to motivate Easter Sunday workers with a raffle to win water and a bag of chips. Thank you for working on Easter Sunday, which, if you're a Christian, which in America there's a good chance you are, is one of the biggest holidays that you have. There's Christmas and there's Easter, and probably American Thanksgiving kind of being the big three holidays for people outside of someone's birthday, right? And here's Amazon saying, thank you for spending crucial time away from your family in this unsafe environment while we make $1 bazillion every quarter. But you can have fun. You can enter a raffle for water and chips. Not say, a couple $1,000. I think Bezos could spare that, right? This is why the rich need to be more than taxed. Amazon workers arriving at one company warehouse on Easter Sunday were greeted with a cheerful message from management. As a holiday incentive, there would be a contest and a raffle. Those who picked products above a certain speed would be entered into a draw to win a goodie bag. The grand prize, water or soda plus a candy bar or bag of chips, worth roughly $2. I got this for free today from a lady who was happy that I made a delivery to her in record time because she was expecting it days from now, and it just happened to be in the station. So she's like, oh, no, here. Oh, thank you so much. This is great. Fantastic. I didn't have to enter a raffle. I didn't have to endanger myself. I didn't have to endanger my coworkers. Absolute ridiculous ghoul shit from management at Amazon. Oh my God. Like, oh my God, I hate this so much. It's strange. Do people ever actually get holidays during these days? I've never seen my parents ever get a holiday unless it was in summer. Some people do. I think it depends, and also on like seniority and if a place is unionized or not. All in all, there should be, in my opinion, more of a cultural pushback against this like super convenient consumer culture of, oh, we gotta be able to have everything. We must still have, express overnight delivery up until Christmas Eve. It's like, can we not like give people some actual time to themselves? Do we need to have stuff open the hours that they are? Do we need to have people working on certain holidays? Is it really going to kill us and the economy if we actually shut down for, say, an extra week a year? It's ridiculous. Amazon sucks. Yeah, we know. You think Fancy Feast would be cheaper? Don't put that energy out into the universe. Next thing you know, Jeff Bezos will be like, yeah, look, we totally scored these lovely dog bone style treats for people, and it's Scooby snacks, and it's actually just dog treats. Like, that's what I would expect from Mr. Bezos. And I think I missed another water and chips, the vital sustenance sources. Got to get those electrolytes, baby. Reminds me of that one time I got a $1 gift certificate as a reward for months of mandatory overtime. What? Okay. Wow. Like sometimes I have issues with my work, but we actually do get bonuses every so often. It's like, oh, hey, we hit our quarterly bonuses, or we hit the Christmas peak bonuses. And that's like several $100s. Because of the pandemic, we also got like, I got $500 for, hey, we know it's a pandemic and it's kind of crazy. And I was part-time at the time. So here's, $500 for dealing with the pandemic as a part-timer. Thanks for sticking around. I was like, okay, cool. That's like a week's salary. Nice. Wow. That, yeah. I don't know if I pronounce it Nathanatos or Nathanatos. I'm assuming Nathanatos. You have every right to riot and burn your workplace down. That's obscene. Oh my God. All right. Oh geez. Lots of comments coming in now. This is new to me. I don't know what I'm doing. You got a fun dip on one of your last shifts at McDonald's. This should have at least given you a McFlurry. Come on now. Seen you in comments and your name is BB said, yeah, one of my IRL friends does not like the name Bothered Boy or BB. Every time I see him, he's like, I'm telling you, change it. But like, it's such easier shorthand. And also my Arab friends love it because like, hey, Habibi. I'm like, yeah, what's up? Yeah, I have fun with it. But yeah, wow, that's I'm still not over the $1 for overtime. Yeah, no. Okay, moving on. I'm getting increasingly frustrated. We got to have some candy in here somewhere. All right. So, next horrifying story. April 19th. Just to feel the vibes of things in Texas right now for trans folk, I interviewed the mother of a non-binary adolescent this week. The kid's teacher, in front of the whole class, announced that the reason they're trans is because they've been groomed by their queer parents. What in the goddamn fuck is that, right? You have a teacher, someone in a position of power and authority, trying to set good examples and standing up in front of an entire class and singling out a student saying, you are terrible, you don't deserve to exist, and you are terrible because of your god-awful parents who are going to burn in hell. Like, what the hell is wrong with people? I mean, I know what's wrong with Texas, Florida, basically all the red states everywhere. But again, I want to remind people that there are plenty of good people in red states trying to fight back against this stuff. It's that they are basically being oppressed by this small elite that are holding the reins of power. They're gerrymandering districts. They're finding ways of excluding minorities from voting. They're shutting down polling locations. This is going on from like Kentucky to Georgia to Texas to Florida, everywhere in between. It is obscene. It should not be a thing, but unfortunately, we live in the bad timeline. There's a bit more of a thread, but like it as someone who has been a teacher before, that's heartbreaking to me. I've heard jokes about school outing, but it's outing an LGBTQ plus kid rather than a field trip. The joke being that'd be an absurd thing to have happen. I mean, I guess, but like it's like it. Okay, to try and condense my thoughts, because, well, okay, so sorry to make this about me, folks, for a little bit. But being a teacher, even though it was only for a while, and it was overseas with, of course, tutoring here, um, it was a wonderful experience. I wish I could have done more of it. I would have loved to actually be a proper teacher. Even with all like the problems with teaching here in Canada. But this is something where, you know, I always was very quick to shut it down, because I was always known as like the fun, the jovial teacher, because I was like the cool, weird foreign English teacher who came over and we'd do like fun activities and stuff with him. He's like a cool substitute sometimes, like, yeah, fun times, right? But there would be times when like I heard someone say something racist, derogatory, misogynistic, and suddenly I went from like happy jovial teacher to like absolutely not under any circumstances. You take that back right now. And they'd be like, oh geez, okay, I must have done something wrong. If like super happy-go-lucky teacher has you know, suddenly singled me out for my bad behavior, guess I'd better not do that again. And you know, that was something that was important to me, right? To, you know, because kids don't always know, and so you try and educate them on them. And sometimes it was like, you know, because in Spain everyone's loud, so when you see something in the hallway you have to be loud. In the classroom obviously it's a bit easier, so it's more like, oh no, you should not say that, we do not do that, or no, here's something your textbook isn't telling you and this is why it's a problem, and educate them that way. And a lot of the kids learned and they took it to heart. But it's still just so horrifying to see that, you know, my approach to being a teacher compared to some other actual teacher on the same continent is just like, you're a piece of shit. Like it's horrifying. Absolutely horrifying. You're there to teach and to educate, not bully your students. Like, what? My point is that what was absurd is now real. I mean, yeah, The Onion has already said on several times they've basically given up because reality is a parody now. So, you know, that's where we are. How is Texas more repressive on things like abortion compared to Turkey? Because they need to distract people from the fact that they don't have actual policy positions. Whereas even the right-wing forces in Turkey have policy positions. It's, you know, make Turkey great again, basically. But they do have certain policies that will tie into that, whether they're, you know, more of an Islamicization or whatever the term is. It's a whole complicated thing over there. I don't know much about it. I literally only know 3 Turkish people. 2 of them are artists. So definitely I'm getting a bit of a biased filter. Stream now. Yes, Emily. We are streaming. And yes, hello. But yeah, it's the Scuffed stream, by the way, the very, very Scuffed stream. And yeah. Oh, as a neurodivergent, I got some bullying from teachers. A lot of us have gotten that. I had a teacher where like even when we had like a broken clarinet and it was the only clarinet left, I'm like, no, look, it's broken. She'd still get mad at me for not playing the right notes. And it's like, what do you expect me to do with a literal broken instrument? And then, you know, it's like, oh, why are you pushing back against authority? Because your authority is bullshit. And, well, I guess that was the start of my anarchist arc. There we go, folks. 13-year-old me. Hey. What are my thoughts on turkey? It is delicious. I like hunting them. My dad makes a really good turkey, but his is technically second best to my uncle who actually smokes a turkey. So every Thanksgiving, like my uncle on my mom's side of the family. So we get the smoked turkey, and then I go get the like beautifully spiced with like sazon and everything, juicy turkey that my dad makes. So I basically get the best turkey every Thanksgiving. I'm actually working on content, LOL, and I found out that Kim Kardashian, vocal about the Armenian genocide, didn't know her clothes were made in Turkey. Oh, that hurts, but that's funny. Oh my god, I love it. I absolutely love it. So, okay, broadly speaking, my thoughts on Turkey is it was doing real great for a while. Erdogan has kind of made it backslide a not insignificant amount, but there's still hope for Turkey as a nation to, I don't want to say westernized because that's just like a really dirty, toxic, and incorrect term. For Turkey to be like a truly developed, stable, successful, independent country. I think there's still a lot of potential there. They have been showing still some signs of this. It's just a lot of the political repression and Erdogan seeing it as like his own personal plaything. That's the biggest problem facing Turkey right now, in my opinion. But yeah, that Kim Kardashian story. Oh man. Oh god, yeah. The pros and cons section of colonization of India and the Ulster plantations. Yeah, like they try and do the fair and balanced approach because again, it's like, oh, it's unfair to view history through, the lens. It's like, great. So then mention instead about like, well, maybe slavery actually had some benefits. Talk about the abolitionists that were going on back then, showing that they were, as proven by us in the future, on the right side of history. But hey, that's just me. I guess I'm a biased shit lib who's corrupting the youth of Spain and India and private tutors here in Canada with, this liberal bullshit that they're taking to heart. My bad. Whoopsie. All right. Next up, we have. Oh, right. Yeah. Teachers must tell parents if their child comes out as transgender, says Nadim Zahawi. This is over on Turf Island, the good old United Kingdom. And as this person points out, this is dangerous and quite frankly a breach of those children's human rights to privacy. And yeah, it absolutely is. This is just absurd because you're like, again, it's a privacy issue. Oh boy, the Dystopia stream. Yep. Yeah. Welcome to the Scuffed Dystopia stream. When you have someone like this jackass talking about, like, let me see if it'll actually, no, it won't fully open in that way. When you have people like this jackass saying, oh no, teachers have to be mandated to tell parents if their kids are out, that is so harmful because a lot of kids will not be out to their parents because their parents have made an unsafe at-home environment. It's also why even if you say to kids like, hey, how'd you get that black eye? And actually, here's, a bit of a depressing story. What I'm telling people right now is how we found out of an instance of child physical abuse for one of the students in Spain. Was she would usually show up every so often with bruises. And, I just asked her one day with the help of a teacher because I didn't fully speak Spanish or Catalan at that point in time. And we asked her, hey, how'd you get that bruise? And she said she fell down the stairs. I was like, wait a second, I've heard that excuse before. So I asked the teacher, ask her how many times does she fall down the stairs, or how many times does, her parent, whoever it is, make her fall down the stairs? And without missing a beat, she said, oh, a few times a week. And we're like, oh boy. Okay. So that's uncovered. But what could we do about it? Unfortunately, not much, because oh, hey, we suspect that, there's abuse going on, but they're going to be on their best behavior. Like, what? No, I love my daughter. Es mi princesa. ¿Qué dice? Like, it's going to be like that. And then as soon as someone leaves, whether it's the cops, the actual like social security agent or whatever, it's like, who did you tell? Who did you tell? And then they're not going to open up about it ever again. The net harm is still done to the child and nothing of substance is meaningfully accomplished. That's one of the grotesque aspects about this society that we live in. And not just in America, not just here in Canada, but over in Spain, progressive Europe, right? There's still that same exact problem. Oh, I'm missing on chat. I see it scrolling. Turf Island dweller here. Yep. Just rest in pieces. This feels like a right to privacy, but also an attack on the child's free speech. I mean, yeah, turns out the people who love freedom of speech in America, or they say they love freedom of speech, actually really don't. They in fact hate it. They want everyone to address to their really narrow worldview. and anything outside of that or challenging that suddenly makes them the victim. And oh god, that's a subject for another time. I love how we decided to ban conversion therapy because it was torture, but we kept it for trans people. We're so scuffed. Yeah. Like, the whole, maybe people remember this or not, but conversion therapy was recently banned here in Canada, and it resulted in the expulsion of the Conservative Party leader, the former leader, Aaron O'Toole, because his caucus decided, no, you know what? We're actually very much in favor of conversion therapy. So you got to go, dude. And these people might win the next election if Pierre Poilievre's leading them. Fun times. Like I said, folks, it's the Dystopia stream. Necesito aprender español. I mean, it's a beautiful, lovely language. I'm still not great with it myself, and lack of practice is still just like, it means I have to think about it more often, whereas when I was obviously living there, it just sort of came naturally after a while. That's obviously gone now, and I hate it. Aaron O'Toole, what a tool. Yeah, the jokes wrote themselves, right? Children have like zero rights. Yeah, unfortunately. And, parents want that. That's going to be, we got some more stories about this, folks. We're still only in like end of April. The dystopia continues. Dystopia absolutely continues, unfortunately. Did I miss anything else? I did, but oh, geez. Click the stream tweet for a public. I don't know what's going on. Again, scuffed stream. So yeah, that's enough with this story. Need to abolish adultism, youth liberation. I mean, the kids are definitely fighting back a lot more now, which I absolutely love to see. So in that sense, I feel like the future is in good hands, and the kids are just absolutely rejecting the notion of like having to respect their elders without, earning that respect. Right. So the kid's like, nah, these teachers, the politicians in power, whether they're Democrats or Republicans, you're all terrible. I'm like, yeah, go kids. Yeah. Absolutely love to see it. All right. Yeah. So going back to Florida real quick. The Florida Department of Health just issued guidelines telling doctors to medically detransition all transgender youth and ban them from social transition treatment, including name, pronoun, and clothing changes. So, there's a memo down below there. This comes from No Lie with Brian Tyler Cohen. It basically, again, as someone was just saying, children have no rights. And here they are detransitioning people, which for those who are likely aware in this chat and the community is incredibly harmful to trans people. So yeah, here's Florida, just, Department of Health casually deciding to harm people who they are ostensibly responsible for. Florida is such a goddamn nightmare state. I swear to God. PP is the only thing that ought to be mandated. No, see, because like that makes people feel bad, and you can't make people feel bad. See, also Florida, like a couple months ago, passing legislation making it illegal to make white people feel guilty about their race and their history. Florida. What, detransition? That's absolutely horrifying. Yeah, it's also, again, medically unsafe once you've actually begun the process, which is why puberty blockers are so incredibly important and relevant, as basically all my trans friends have said, because you're just putting it off. So that then when, you finally decide, okay, yeah, we are going to go through with this, then you can actually transition correctly, more smoothly. You don't have to like deal with too much body, what's the term? Dysmorphia or something like that, I think is the term. That is all so crucial to the health and safety of trans people. And here they are being like, now, not only are we going to stop, covering and treating you, we're going to medically detransition you. Like I said, folks, this is the Dystopia stream. I am so sorry. Florida dictating what people wear is amusing, considering they have a good deal of nudist places. I have no idea. I am not a nudist, so I will take your word for it. Oh yeah, you think your brain just cramped? They want to police what gendered clothes kids are wearing? Yeah, because it's all about colors and skirts and like boys and girls, Only two must fit rigid hierarchy. It's absolutely ridiculous and unjustifiable, but I'd expect nothing less from the nightmare dystopia state that is Florida. The state is getting way too fucking personal with our lives. I mean, yeah, unless you're a white, cis, Christian man, in which case it's probably absolutely great to be in Florida. Like, if I was a right-wing conservative, I would absolutely love Florida, but I'm not. I'm a sensible human being. And unfortunately, I have comrades in Florida, including family in Florida. Now, the family I have there are rather wealthy. So it's not like, they're really struggling. They could leave at any point. They could get around things fairly easily if they want to. But it's still just like, oh my God, Florida, what are you doing? You're only reporting what's already out there. I mean, I guess, yeah. We're just going over stuff that like would have been in Sunday Sum Up episodes and stuff that people may or may not have missed. So if people knew about this, great. You're informed. If you didn't know about it, welcome to hell. Just realized BB means bothered boy. I thought you were all calling him baby. Oh, that's adorable. That's precious. Really makes you happy Bo's in Florida. At least there's proof actively good people still try to make things better there. There's actually a ton of good people in Florida doing good work. Bo's one of them. Again, like my family members there are also doing pretty good work. So there are good Floridians, right? It goes back to what I said earlier about how most red states are basically a white evangelical cartel that is running the show against the will of what would actually be the majority of people. Norway is doing the same nationally. Oh God. Ugh. Yeah, the Nordic states, once you scratch the surface, they're actually quite horrifying. That's a subject for another time, though. It is something I've been meaning to do. I've mentioned before that I'm Latino. Are you specifically of Mexican descent or like Colombian or Venezuelan or something? Don't try to dox me. Definitely not Mexican. I'm actually from various corners of Latin America, so like it's a whole mix. So like basically, like if you close your eyes and like look on a map of South America and just kind of choose arbitrarily somewhere that isn't Brazil, you got a 50-50 chance I got a like family member from there basically at this point. So yay. I love every minute of this. I try to keep up with the news and war crimes around the world. So let's hear Meyer Dystopia. All right, cool. Florida needs to fucking chill and leave trans kids alone. Everyone needs to leave trans kids alone. Just let kids be kids. Why is this so difficult? It's like, no, we can't let autistic kids be themselves. We can't let trans kids be themselves. We can't let anyone in the LGBTQ plus community as teens or kids be themselves. We can't let brown and black kids be themselves. We got to fetishize Asian kids. It's like, what the fuck are we doing? Like, just stop. Let children be children. Oh, I wonder why children are so depressed and feeling so much stress and everything. Because look at all the shit y'all are putting them through. Never mind like climate collapse in their very near future. That's just the background noise. They have so much other terribleness to deal with in the present, including the policing of their bodies, the policing of their thoughts, and of course, like bullying from their peers, bullying from teachers. Gee, I wonder why kids are so depressed. Like, this should not be rocket science. Are these streams scheduled? I am trying to do this every Monday now, which basically means there's not going to be like a proper Monday video, but Monday will be stream night because now it seems like, okay, one of our roommates is in the restaurant industry. And so Monday's usually like chill for him, but he usually like spends time at his brother's place and they hang out. And then the other roommate goes to a community choir now that things are open back up. So now there's no like, disturbing different bedrooms and stuff. So it's like, okay, I can be as loud as I want for a few hours every Monday night. There we go. Actually, if I recall correctly, Nori is medically detransitioning trans adults too. Yeah. Like, okay. So, again, like I will do a proper video on this at some point in the future about the Nordic countries and how actually they're not that great. But we've touched on this before. So Denmark, for instance, very recently determined that certain areas of Syria were safe enough for refugees to return to. And so they stripped the refugee status of those that had already become settled in various parts of Denmark and sent them back to Syria. We talked about that on our channel. Recently, we also talked about, at least I think we did. If not, then here's news for everyone. Sweden's pandemic response has been just reviled internationally. It resulted in way more death. And some people are cool with it in terms of, well, the people who are supposed to die have died, so it's fine. So Sweden cool with eugenics, I guess. And then there's Norway medically detransitioning trans people. And Iceland straight up engages in eugenics. The Icelanders are very proud of the fact that there's no one with Down syndrome there because they check for that, in part because, like, the way this started, right? The road to hell is paved with good intentions, folks. Because Iceland is a very small country with only like 300,000 people, they actually have to have very special registries so that people know that they aren't too closely related to avoid incest, basically. So as a result, like, their genetic information is kind of just freely available, and they get tests for stuff all the time. As a result, when people do become pregnant, you get the whole like designer baby thing. And also, your child will likely have autism, or it'll have Down syndrome being the more famous instance. They say, oh, no, none of that, because it's just, well, we can kind of pick and choose and stuff, right? So yeah, sorry to burst everyone's bubble about the Nordic model. The Scandinavian, or well, not Scandinavian, but the Nordic countries writ large are horrifying in a variety of different ways. And I am going to make a video delving into this. Reasonable adults, the world is horrible. Least we can do is let kids be kids. You'd think, right? Yeah, it's so frustrating. Coming from rural Australia, nobody in here gives a fuck about the climate crisis. It's real depressing out here. You got to move to Tasmania. I hear good things about Tasmania. They've stopped old growth logging. They take climate change seriously. It's probably going to be the one part of Australia that's still habitable in the near future. So go to Tasmania. H&M has like really fucked the planet. Oh, yeah. With like not only fast fashion, but like exploiting work overseas in like Bangladesh and Thailand and stuff. Oh, yeah. But like I said, there's honestly no shortage of stuff to talk about why the Nordic countries are not actually like super great nations, all things considered. There are things that, we can and should emulate in terms of social programs and community care. There's other nightmarish stuff that people just don't know about or they willingly ignore. Isn't Hannah Gadsby from Tasmania? I have no idea. Which is the biggest reason why I'm not a sock dem. That isn't enough. I mean, yeah, like, but basically I started from, vaguely left of center to think, oh, well, they have some points, centrist, I guess, to then like, oh yeah, I'm like a socialist, but I didn't really understand that. So then I just went back to like left of center. And then I heard sock dem. I was like, oh, sock dem. And then I actually started talking to socialists for real. And I was like, oh, okay, no, I'm pretty sure I'm a socialist. And then I found out more about, what I was loving to talk about and think I was as a teenager, which was anarchism. And then I found the lovely happy medium for me, which is anarcho-syndicalism, which is basically kind of just a form of anarcho-communism. So, I'm basically red and black now, so it's fine. You have to just outsource their suffering. Yeah, welcome to the capitalist West, right? Next up, again in Florida, as Democrats literally scream in protest, Florida Republicans passed DeSantis' congressional map, allowing Republicans to gain 4 extra seats in Congress. Huge win! The 20R8D map erases all Democrat gains in redistricting and almost guarantees Republicans the majority in Congress. Democrats will file lawsuits, but they will lose. More developments to come. Follow me to keep updated. So yeah, that's what we got here, folks. He literally said the quiet part out loud. Yay! We've stopped democracy. Look, our team is winning. Don't you know? Politics isn't about helping people in America. It's a spectacle sport. And we just ran up the numbers against the Democrats. Yeah, we're winning. Never mind the death of democracy. And this again just kind of proves my point about the South being held hostage by a cabal of pissed off evangelical white people. It's right here. He's admitting it. The C word is scary, but yep. I mean, yeah. And like every now and then when I think, no, you know what? I am a communist. Then like some communists that I know in real life or that I see on the internet will just make me facepalm. And I'm just like, you know what? On second thought, no, I'm not. So, you know, that's how it is for me these days. Like, instead of wavering between like centrist and SOCDEM, I now waver between communist and anarcho-somethingist. Climate is crazy in Wenatchee. Bad fire seasons. We had a pretty bad winter, the biggest snowfall we've had in years. Dang. Well, they said that climate change would result in weather extremes, so you're living it. A libertarian? Oh, no. Well, you know what? I guess everyone has a libertarian phase. It's just some people never grow out of it. Thankfully, you did. It really is a sport to a lot of right-wingers and probably libs. Yeah, it like politics in America and also like ostensibly in Canada, it's a spectator sport. It's about who's winning rather than meaningfully helping the people and the nation, which is why, you know, bipartisanship should theoretically be possible. But because of the capitalist corruption of the like the infiltration of the ruling class into the political sphere, it's now just their hand in the political sphere. So now it's not about helping the country and people, it's about helping those who profit from the country, which ultimately is unsustainable. I'm pretty sure Marx himself said something about that. I haven't read Das Kapital. I know I'm a bad leftist. Give me time. From each according to their ability to each according to need. Absolutely beautiful. Love that. I stand the USSR cringe. Yeah, like, okay, again, props to the USSR for doing the bulk of the heavy lifting against the Nazis in World War II. The Red Army absolutely has my eternal respect for that. However, let's not pretend the Red Army was all sunshine and roses. Let's not pretend the USSR was great. There are good things there. Let's not do like an all or nothing game. There have been good things that Canada has done. Canada has also committed genocide. It's a very bad thing. Both these things are true, right? So like it's that I hate when people try and do like the kind of zero sum thing. So it's like North Korea is actually fantastic. It's like, no, China's wonderful. In some ways, yes, they lifted 100+ million people out of poverty. That is to be commended. At the same time, surveillance state, not good. America, sure, it's a land of opportunity. I love like all the fusion cuisine and stuff. Diverse, beautiful, massive, bunch of great people in there. At the same time, shit like this. So, you know, no country is perfect. It's not black or white. It's 50 shades of gray. Or how many countries are there around the world? Like 208 shades of gray. There you go. Well, we got all the best pals in here. Yeah, everybody's here. Thank y'all for coming into the very scuffed stream. The communists killed millions of people all over the world. Yeah, so did capitalists. So did fascists. The point is the world is shitty and no one is perfect or entirely good. Canada's not entirely good. America's not entirely good. Germany's not entirely good. Like this is the one of the few universal truths out there. My family was all upset that I was pro-choice, like super upset, but they didn't bat an eye about me being atheist. Odd, but yeah. And down here, if we scroll, you can see the redistricting plan, which erases Democrat gains deliberately because, oh boy, can't have them be competitive in Florida. That would be bad. Oh no. Wait, no, I totally believe in free speech and I totally believe in democracy. I am a Republican after all. Yeah. Absolutely ridiculous. Like I'm not surprised, but just the fact that they're saying the quiet part out loud is in some ways rewarding, but still deeply, deeply frustrating. So what's up next? Oh, close these. Oh, yeah, this one. Okay, so this was a phone ad that someone got. And so they're just sharing like these phone game ads are getting out of control. This isn't like too serious, right? This is, I guess, like a bit of a candy break. But why is the Rainbow Nation fighting like, what is that, the bisexual flag in the Pacific Northwest? Like typical leftist infighting, right? It needs to stop. But also, like, what kind of game is this? Like, what? I legit do not understand it. Be a true strategist in attack and defense. Why? Also, apparently Utah's gay now, and Arizona too. Like, what? Nothing about this picture makes sense to me, but it's relatively harmless. So that's why I wanted to share it with people. The rules only apply when it's someone else. Virtually every pro-lifer will go against their own pro-life morals and do it anyway. Yeah, I mean, I think I actually heard recently a story about someone who was like, oh yeah, no, we're pro-life and everything. And then once his mistress got an abortion, it was like, oh no, you gotta abort the baby. It's like, how do you honestly go to sleep at night? Like, it's absolutely ridiculous. The gay agenda. Yeah, the gay agenda, which is we just want to be left in peace. Well, I say we to paraphrase. I am a boring straight cis dude. But like, as far as I can tell, the gay agenda from everyone I know is women want pockets in their dresses, and the LGBTQ community wants to just be allowed to exist and live in peace and be themselves. That's it. That's the agenda. I don't have issues with the agenda. And apparently they also want to fight and invade Idaho from Nevada. Anyway, that was just a little bit of a light one. Oh, yeah. Okay. We have a bit of a candy break, I guess. So, man who destroyed rainbow mural weeps in court after dad tells judge he's a disappointment. I absolutely love this. I'm going to shift it to here so that you can actually see the full. Oh, I absolutely love that. If you see that part of the screen grab there, people probably saw that video. It was like a dude with I think like an American flag or possibly a Gadsden flag and a Trump flag or something. And he was just burning rubber on the painted rainbow crosswalk. It was like, I forget even how long ago, but I remember seeing that video. It was probably during Pride Month. And of course, the dude got arrested. And now we have the lovely update that his dad told the judge he's a disappointment, and that broke this. I shouldn't laugh because on some level that's really sad, right? But at the same time, it's really funny. Like, not gonna lie, it's really funny to think of this guy like, yeah, fuck them gay people, woo, make America great again, fuck yeah. And then, he gets into court, thinking like, oh yeah, I showed them libs. And in comes his father, all dejected, like, oh my God. Hi, Your Honor, I'm the father of douchebag Junior here. It's like, oh, you don't approve of him? No, he's an absolute disappointment. Like, imagine hearing from your father that you're a disappointment. Oh, wow. Like, that's gotta hurt, man. That has got to hurt. And again, like, shout out to my parents. Obviously sometimes they push back on stuff when I come with an idea of like, I want to do this. And they kind of raise an eyebrow like, okay, well, have you thought about this or what the consequences may be? Just keep in mind. But they've always been very supportive. Like, once this kind of started and got off the ground a bit, both my mom and dad were supportive, especially my dad. My dad made me that, what are you bothered about today? Custom t-shirt. Like, my dad's very supportive. If you're watching, hi, Dad. But yeah, this is just like, wow. Imagine being in court and your dad goes on record with the judge that you're a disappointment. That's gotta sting. Like, ooh, oh yeah, that's gotta sting. Next up, finally in some Reddit stuff. Okay, we're on a video again, so now I have to do the thing of sharing the audio. But I guarantee you, this is worth your time. Feel free to spread this around because it's good stuff. All right, let me do the silly share screen, share tab. There we go. Hey,
Christians are.
Here we go. Actually, I'm just gonna put the full screen again. Okay, it is on here. Perfect. Awesome.
White, blonde Christians are being discriminated against. Now that I got your attention, let me tell you that they're also Palestinian. This video is for hypocrites who consider this and this as heroic resistance, while this and this as terrorism. It's true, Israel is fair. They apply the same apartheid rules on both Christian and Muslim Palestinians. You see, while foreigner Christians were allowed access into the Church of the Holy Sepulchre yesterday to witness the ceremony of the Holy Fire, Christian and Arab Palestinians were not allowed access into the church to witness the Holy Ceremony.
That's fucked up.
And the sadness in this Egyptian man's eyes really broke my heart.
There's a lot of Christian support as well.
He went all the way from Egypt for this exact celebration, yet he was not allowed in because he was Arab. So citizens not having the right to access their holy church, while outsiders can. This is just one more example of why Israel is an apartheid state.
Look, this is all journalists here. These are all journalists, and we're basically stuck. Look, they're coming towards us. Journalists!
And it's not new to Israel. They have been attacking unarmed worshippers in Al-Aqsa Mosque for the past week. The third holiest mosque in Islam in the holiest month of Ramadan for no reason. And they're literally giving illegal Jew settlers access to the mosque, but not to the Palestinian worshippers.
دولة بتسلطي انت نص جيشك على مصلين على عزال هذا عمره ما كان.
Usually, in the holy month of Ramadan, all Muslims of the world gather in mosques to worship God and pray. Yet, the holiest of mosques is being bombed and raided by violence by the Israeli occupation forces on a daily basis.
Sure
a place where they're not even allowed to be, according to international law. So what do you expect worshippers to do when their mosque is treated this way? They will definitely resist, and we're not sorry for fighting our aggression. And since we're on it, let me tell you a couple other things that Israel did in the past couple weeks. They executed in cold blood Ghada Spatin, a Palestinian mother of 6 who's half blind while she was just walking down the street. They shot her, claiming that she looked suspicious. And they just left her there in the street to bleed for 15 minutes, and later that day she died in the hospital. Of course, they did not find any weapons with her. Also, Ahmed Manasra, who was put in prison 7 years ago when he was just 13 years old after being shot and run over by an Israeli driver. His proposed crime was attempting to stab a settler, and it was proven that he had nothing to do with it. Yet, Ahmed has been sentenced in prison for 12 years, and for the 6 past months, he's been in solitary confinement with his mental health worsening. He even asked his lawyer if God would forgive him if he committed suicide with the horrible conditions he's put in.
والدة الأسير الطفل أحمد مناصرة، يعني لما الطفل يقوم خلال زيارة يجي السجان ويدفشوا من كتفه ويقعدوا على الكرسي، مش قادر يقعد، بيقوم بيتحرك الولد.
Israel is an occupation that has done so many things that can show how horrible apartheid systems can get. Restricting Muslims from their mosques, Christians from their churches, attacking unarmed worshippers, killing unarmed civilians, building illegal settlements, getting violent with children and the elderly, just to demonstrate their power. And it was recently officially recognized as an apartheid state by Amnesty International, a human rights organization that's even credible for the West. So, my dear friends, it's either you stand against aggression, apartheid and racism everywhere, stand with Palestine, or you're a hypocrite. Salam.
So yeah, isn't that just good fun, right? Okay, wow, I got a lot of chat to catch up on. All right, what are we here? Oh, Reddit, what are we going to do with you? Oh boy, yeah. Church my parents go to actually had a pastor give an announcement about giving support to Palestinian Christian family whose house was taken by the IDF. Sheesh. Yeah, like the stories I've heard, I remember my first real horrifying conflict, like not conflict, but like when the whole Israel is absolutely an apartheid state came home to roost for me mentally was when I was going to driving school, this driving course, so that you could get like a lower insurance payment rate, which of course, like as a young person not making a lot of money, was very important to me. So it was this defensive driving course, and one of the classmates there was this Palestinian girl. And while we were all bonding over shawarma one day, uh, she was just casually mentioning, like, I would like to go back to Palestine, but like, I'm afraid because they could legit seize my passport, and all of us, right? So like, we got a white guy, we got me the Latino guy, we got like some dude from the Caribbean, like it's the whole kind of like mosaic of Canada, right? And we all just kind of stopped mid-part. We're like, wait, what? Turns out, according to her, and then I later verified this, they can and will take Palestinian passports, which are also a different color, by the way, from Israeli passports. So like Israeli Jews have a certain color. I think it's orange. And then Israeli Arabs have a green passport. And if you're Palestinian, you can actually have your passport seized, and then they trap you in wherever. So like Hebron, Gaza, I think was where her family was. She's like, I don't want to get trapped there because it's a bad scene. Like all these different places in the Palestinian territories, they can legit just take your passport if you're like in any way suspicious, and then boom, she can't get back here to Canada where she's actually spent most of her life. But of course, she's Palestinian. She has family. She would like to stay in touch with family, see her family, and she's at risk of being stuck there. That for me was like, oh my God, what the fuck is this real doing? Like, isn't this real? And then we found we're like, holy shit, this is real. Like, what? It was mind blowing again in the worst way to us. People often try to parse out Israel Palestine about Jews versus Muslims when it's often more about race. If you're Palestinian, even if you've converted to Judaism, you're still persecuted. I've heard similar things about Israeli Jews who are not like, I think, Ashkenazi Jews. So if you're like a Jew from what is it, Ethiopia, like there are like Ethiopian Jews, or if you're like the Jews who were airlifted out in Operation, I think it was even called like Operation Magic Carpet or something like that, from Yemen, in the wake of like the Arab-Israeli war. I think that was like, if you're basically brown and from the Middle East or Africa as a Jew, you are still treated very differently in Israel. So good to know racism is just a universal thing, no matter how Western, democratic, or developed you are. Coming off of Ramadan and recently Eid, this shit pisses me off as a Syrian. Yeah, I can only imagine, dude. Like, actually, sorry, I don't know if dude is one of your pronouns, but yeah, Adnan, it's definitely a thing that I know so many people are upset with. Things were also really weird at my high school because we had a lot of Jewish people, and we also had a lot of Palestinians and particularly Lebanese people. So when there was that war with Lebanon back in the 2000s, things were definitely awkward at school, but we did have it. I don't know if it's still there. It'd be hilarious if it is. It was I think the Muslim Jewish Friendship League, to kind of go beyond that politics. Like, we're all people, we can all be friends, we have different religions, let's hang out. And they had a lot of work, and they were definitely very active, I remember at that point in time. But yeah, like so many of the Lebanese kids at our school, I remember suddenly normally being like bright, jovial, or sometimes even like the bullies that were there were suddenly very despondent, and we're like, hey, everything okay? And they're like, nah, man, like, my uncle or my grandma or my grandpa or my aunt or my cousins or whoever are in like somewhere in Lebanon, and so we're concerned, right? I'm like, yeah, wow, that's got to be very deeply personal to you. So that's an unfortunate reality for a lot of people. That song slaps, absolutely. Let them worship Ramadan, for Pete's sake. It's their mosque after all. Let people be people, right? But so like the problem that Israel sees with Al-Aqsa Mosque is that it's on what's called the Temple Mount. So on the Temple Mount originally was the Temple of Solomon. It was raised down by the Romans in the past in the Judean uprising that basically saw the end of them as a protectorate and being enshrined as a fully Roman province. What ended up in the wake of that was, of course, the complete leveling, the destruction. It was just like they put some kind of Roman temple on top of there, as a sign of conquest. And that's also where the Wailing Wall gets its term, because the Wailing Wall is one of the walls that remains of the Temple Mount. So, and then there's also the church, I think it's called the Church of the Holy Sepulchre, maybe, or Church of the Temple Mount. And it's a Christian church. It's where the Knights Templar was founded. I think it's also supposedly, no, I was about to say where Jesus gave the Beatitudes, but that's a different church, I think. Basically, the Temple Mount is now holy to the three major Abrahamic faiths. It became holy to the Muslims when the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, went there and allegedly ascended into heaven. And so they built Al-Aqsa Mosque around the site where that happened, which is why it's the third holiest site in Islam. So the Jews are upset because, somewhat understandably, it's on the site where they had their big old Temple of Solomon, and they have that very sorrowful remembrance with the Wailing Wall. And I think it's also known correctly or more aptly as the Western Wall now. The Christians have the church there. The Muslims have the third holiest site. So it is holy to all these religions, right? And yet somehow they can't share let the Muslims enjoy their mosque, let the Jews wander and pray in peace, because it's also, part of their structure. Let the Christians protest and see and have their ceremonies in peace. I remember in high school in our world religions class, I wrote something down that actually blew the mind of my very Christian teacher. She actually made a note of it in the margins, where I said that, not that I really subscribe in it, but if God works in mysterious ways, maybe he promised the Holy Land to the Christians, the Muslims, and the Jewish people, each of them individually, so that it would actually force them to really reconcile with that and share with each other, because that would be very difficult. But that would be God working in mysterious ways. And that apparently blew her goddamn white mind, because she had never considered that. And probably none of these people have considered that. You would think that people could actually just share things, but religion, race, it does things to people, terrible things to people like this. Every wedding, every party, every cookout, we're getting down to that hard. Every Lebanese person and Palestinian person I know can do the dabka. I cannot, because I'm not from there, but I've seen it. It's awesome. And everyone knows how to do it. What else we got? Oh God, we are so behind chat. I am sorry, everyone. What's going on with the Palestinians is just awful. You know how we can change that? Boycott, divest, and sanction Israel. Or the video of the little girl whose house was destroyed who wanted adults to actually do something. Yeah. There have actually been several Palestinian girls who've become activists just because of horrific things that happened to them or their families. So thank you, Israel, I guess, for giving us well-known international Palestinian activists. Sheesh, yeah, okay. Lots of stuff about apartheid. Yeah, it's Israel's an apartheid state, and more people need to be openly saying that. Dude, is A-okay? All right, good. Now we know. Hello, Alec. We've been talking about all the different ways in which the world is dystopian. We just recently wrapped up just blazingly hot truth bombs about how Israel is an apartheid state. So, yay, fun times. Oh my God, that's beautiful though. The point is for everyone to come together and reconcile, but instead there's fighting. Yeah, it turns out teenage me actually blew the mind of someone who's been thinking about stuff like this for years. I am wise beyond my years, and yet I look apparently younger than I am, according to someone at the start of the stream. Sharing is apparently a foreign concept to them. Not just them, to all of us, right? Hell, look at Canada. Look at America. Hell, even India. India is literally home to no less than 4 religions. only one of which is an import, which is Islam. India, actually, wait, no, hang on. Let me do this correctly. India, like in terms of its like domestic religions, you have Hinduism, Sikhism, Buddhism, and Jainism. And then you also have Islam, which came in during Islamic conquests from who were the Mughals, who created the Mughal Empire, right? So there's these massive religions in India that both came from India and were imported in and celebrated and worshipped by hundreds of millions of people in India. And yet still we have Modi being like, nah, Hinduism is the only way. It's like, my dude, there's literally multiple religions from your subcontinent. That should be a point of pride. It should be like, yeah, look, we invented the concept zero, and we were studying stars way back when, one of the oldest civilizations, Indus Valley civilization. And look at all our philosophy and our history and our mathematics, and behold also all the religions we have created and exported. All of Southeast Asia at one point was doing some kind of religion of ours. Suck it, West. No, instead it's like, no, it can only be the one. Like, dude, fuck off. Anyway, my extended Indian family is not a fan of Modi, and as you can tell, I'm not a fan of him either. So yeah. Wasn't there an apartheid in, I think, Australia? I remember hearing something about that, or it was Hawaii, or both. Okay, so spoiler alert, I'm gonna have Silver Spook coming on Progressive Profiles soon. He's gonna tell us all about Hawaii and colonization. It's going to be a good time. He's going to spruik his game Neofeud, which looks awesome. So, you know, we're going to have a good time. Tune in for that. How old are you? I am going to be 34 this autumn. So yeah. Bo talks about military field manuals and how trying to crush people can cause more recruits to the resistance. Yeah, that's basically a thing. It's like, why are the Irish rebelling? Have you tried not being shit to the Irish? There still is a kind of apartheid in Canada with the reservation system. At least there are no more forced to stay in them. Yeah, and actually, fun fact, right? Part of Canada's Truth and Reconciliation Commission was based in part on the Truth and Reconciliation Commission of apartheid South Africa because of the very strong parallels to that system. Oh, God, yeah. Nice. I assumed you were my age, 28. Nope. Although I did recently get my first gray hair in my mustache. I don't think you can really tell, but it's somewhere in there. First gray hair in here. I have a few gray hairs in here, but it's the first in any of my facial hair. So, yeah. All right. We still have like so many stories. We should probably move on to them. Oh, yeah. Sorry. Apologies in advance. We're going to watch Fox News for a minute. So, sorry about that. But what they say is dangerous, and it's why we need to actually pay attention. All right. And it's showing. Okay, I can deal with this. Why? Yes, and this. Just when I click play, unmute it, Reddit. That's what's bothering me today.
Right to religious speech.
Yes, and the superintendent has to prove that he was ostracizing players and, you know, not favoring them if they didn't participate. So far, what I have seen, they have not proven that. This will be a very important case for religious liberty, but also maybe a great time in our country's history where we rethink whether or not we have public schools. Maybe we should not have the government involved in education at all, so parents and teachers and administrators can make those decisions themselves instead of having the government impose it on them, because it is the public school aspect of this that is creating the legal challenge.
And what do we do with the people who can't afford private? Like, what does that look like? Because each state allots some money, so they would get that money, I would assume. Isn't that what Florida wanted to do?
Vouchers. That's what Florida
Yeah,
did.
that's what Florida wanted to do.
Yeah, we could entirely rethink. Okay, I'll tell you why I say that. It's because the two most powerful teachers unions in the country are opposed to Coach Kennedy. They are using their heft and their influence to make sure that he loses this case.
Emily, you've dealt with the Ninth Circuit before. This is a case that came up through the Ninth Circuit previously.
So, yeah, let's just get rid of public schooling. Now, crash course in history, folks. Public schooling was seen as a very net good for a couple of main reasons. one, having too much of an uneducated populace was not useful to the industrialization that was going on. So, yes, it has capitalist origins, surprise, surprise, but in the interests of capital, it was seen as important to have people be educated. So they went out and they brought people on for like, yeah, look, a little bit of tax money and you're going to get public education. Your kids go to school for X amount of time. We're going to give them in the summer so that they can till the fields. We get it. That's important to you. That's why summer break exists. That's okay. The problem is that, what happened after that was then people start to realize, wow, you know what? Public school is such a great good. I know I've had to make ends meet a bit more because now the child isn't doing child labor. Oh, you got rid of the child labor laws. But the child is now more educated. He's now able to read and write. That opens up economic opportunities for them. So suddenly they're getting better jobs with better pay. And so the family's actually moving up in the world. No longer be we feudal peasants in rural Britannia. Oh, look, our standard of living is improving. And as we've gotten more educated people who are developing critical thinking skills, oh, hey, now we're inventing a whole bunch of things and having thoughts about philosophy and technology and innovation and further scientific studies. And wow, you know what? I know we started this in the interest of like having an educated workforce that could work in the factories, but this actually had a ton of other net benefits. This is actually amazing. But then, oh no, now as conservatism has retrenched further and further, now we have an issue because now the kids are rejecting grandma and grandpa's racist vitriol. Now the kids are saying, mom, maybe you aren't right about gay people and trans people burning in hell. And that breaks her tender old Mississippian heart, don't you know? This is the problem for them. And their solution is vouchers for, private schools. That's not a fucking solution, especially when they'll be like, okay, so we're going to pick the white kids who answered the biased quiz correctly. All the brown people get fucked. That's basically what's going to happen under such a system. They don't like that now. The actual goal of public education is continuing. People are learning. They're getting better economic opportunities. They're actually questioning things and want to learn more. They're thinking more. Oh no, we can't have people thinking. That's liberal bias. And so they're fighting back against what's ultimately been a net positive good for society. Infuriating. What up, y'all? Solidarity. Solidarity forever. Hey, can I send you a DM with the story? You may get a kick out of it. Sure. I make no guarantees about reading it here on stream because we've already been streaming for over an hour and a half. So yeah, I am going to have dinner at some point. Trigger warning, Fox News. Yep. Absolutely. And let's see. I mean, an anarchist way, sure, get rid of public schools, but not now or like that. Yeah, right. Like for me, the good education model is what Finland has. Is it perfect? Should it be carbon copied to everyone in every nation? No, but I think it's a great rubric to start from. So now they want to close public school. I had a play idea where a black student had to band up with an old gang to save the last school in New York from shutting down. That sounds like a parody, but I feel like I unfortunately live long enough to see that timeline. Not sure how I feel about that. Oh, God, what a world. I've had a BS in IT for 4 years, no job. There is economic depression right now, and there has been for a while. So, no, it's not an exact success in that regard. But generally speaking, in the past, educating your populace is the single biggest return on investment you can make. The problem is when they don't want to make investments to further grow that. It's capitalists being selfish and short-sighted, basically. Proud to be part of a generation that is slowly pushing back against this conservative bullshit. I mean, yeah, but they're pushing back real hard because I recognize they got that narrowing window of opportunity to enshrine themselves forever in a position of power, which is why we're seeing all this dystopian nonsense now. That's them pushing for it. They already had that kind of voucher for gifted kids, so they would have the minimal diversity quota. Fun story. I deliberately failed my gifted testing for a really dumb yet adorable childlike reason. So in elementary, when I was in the middle French immersion program at this tiny little school, It was like literally maybe 10 classrooms in the entire school. Like, it was a tiny school, and like 15 to 20 of us per class. And it was like a small one physically as well. And I apparently was doing really well. So I was told one day to bring home this like envelope, brought it home to my mom. She said, "Oh, you've been selected for, taking a test to see if you are going to potentially get into the gifted program." And I was like, "What's the gifted program?" So she told me a bit about that. I also talked to the teacher about it and some other friends and classmates in my class who'd also been selected. There was 3 of us. It was me, another guy, and a girl. And I still know that girl to this day. We're not like really friends. We're basically just acquaintances. But I have technically known her now for like most of my life, which is weird to think about. And I was like, oh, okay. So like, I just had to do really well on a test. That's fine. I'm used to doing that. But then I found out as it got closer and closer to the date that it meant that I would likely go to a different school than the school that I was going to go to for middle school that most of my then at the time friends were going to. And that like freaked me the fuck out as a kid. I was like, what? No, that means I'm not gonna be able to like have sleepovers and stuff with Rob and Daniel and Aaron and Andrew. No. And it was like first existential crisis. And so I was suddenly like, oh geez, if I succeed at this, that's a problem. And so I went in there, I was like, yeah, boy, I sure wish I could remember this answer. What's an answer that might actually be correct? Keep in mind, I'm like 10 or 11 at this point in time. I'm just trying to like fail it, but not clearly fail it so terribly that like it's suspicious, but just like, okay, like that's easy. Everyone clearly knows that. But like this one, oh wait, I have to actually think about this one. Oh, whoops. I mean, no, I totally knew it. Yeah, this is the answer. Circle the correct answer, right? That was me. And after, I remember talking with my classmates and a few other kids who had finished, because I was one of the like first 10 to finish in like this class of like 20 that they had brought down to this room in the basement to take our test outside of class time. And we were chatting for a bit. And they're like, "Oh, just some of those questions for her." I was like, yeah, absolutely. Yeah. What about that one? Oh, I put this one, but I don't think I'm going to get it. And they said, what do you mean? And I said, well, I deliberately failed the test. And this one kid from another class was like, "You can do that?" And I'm like, yeah. And it blew his mind. And then on the way up, I remember talking to this girl and the other guy from our class saying, yeah, like I don't know about you guys, but I deliberately failed it because like I don't want to risk having to get into a program in a different school. And like, I have to start over after I've already basically started over making friends for the past few years at this school. I don't want to start over again. Right. And they're like, oh yeah, that's fair. And I forget if the girl that I still to this day, if she passed and she maybe like denied it or something, because apparently I found out, I think like you can also just reject it anyway. It's like, hey, son or daughter, do you want to actually go into the program? And you can say yes or no. But I know the guy got in and then he went to like a super swanky prep school later. But yeah, that's the story of how I deliberately failed the test that determined if you're gifted or not. So I'm like that one gifted kid who beat the system. They want dumb kids who don't want to learn. That's what they fucking want. I mean, yeah, that's what Republicans and conservatives want. My oldest busted her butt off to be in the gifted international program. Thing is, she was bullied in the regular. Kids are always terrible no matter where you go. Bullying is always a problem, unfortunately. Like, it shouldn't be, but god damn it if it ever is. Well, just the fucking price for gas while the corp will bring up again their trillion profit per quarter. Oh yeah, gas prices, right? They've just made so much profit. Kids should have a say in which school they go to, to be honest. They should. At the same time, I know sometimes it's not always feasible for economic reasons, like the parents can't afford it. It's across town, so like it's just inconvenient for like busing, scheduling, for the parents' own, responsibilities in the workforce. Like, I get that there are challenges and restrictions to that. That's as smart as it gets. Maybe, I don't know, like maybe if I had actually gone to the gifted program, things might be a bit different and maybe better, or just based on so many other gifted kids that I saw on Tumblr, I'd just be another burnout with even more self-doubt issues. So who knows? Teachers enforce all kinds of absurdity. They could just turn their efforts properly against bullying. I mean, yeah, but as we talked about earlier on the stream, it's also like teachers are restricted in a great many ways, and also a lot of teachers are unfortunately lazy. It's just a lot of extra work and stress when they're already overworked and stressed, and so they just want to say the line of like, kids, don't be like that. We value diversity. Bullying is wrong. Okay, good assembly, everyone. Back to class. I'm on my smoke break. Like, there are teachers out there like that because behind the scenes, they're stressed at home. They're stressed at work. They have way too much work at work. Like, it's so many different things. It is such a flawed society that we've ended up with. But I guess we should keep going with all these other different stories. Yeah, wow, we have a lot of stories still to go through. Oh boy. All right. Okay. Gotta start speeding through this. Okay. All right. Republicans cheers congressional candidate demands Fauci's execution by firing squad. Yeah. I don't know if people necessarily want to watch this, and I'm afraid that counts as like a threat thing, and I don't want to completely mess up the stream, as it were. But yeah, apparently Oklahoma GOP chair John Bennett, who's running for Congress, said he wants to put Dr. Anthony Fauci in front of a firing squad, and the crowd at a campaign event clapped and cheered. That's freedom of speech, right? You know, we're totally about freedom. What do you mean calling for the death of a public official? That's not fascist at all. What are you talking about? Absolutely unhinged ghoul shit. Hey, let me click it. There we go. I don't feel like enough people are talking about the fact that a New Haven charter school decided to fire a quarter of their teaching staff just a few months after they formed a union, and now the students have been on strike, hosting town halls and staging sit-ins for 5 days. Yeah. In other news that you didn't hear about, that's still also dystopian, but in a way like good because of the students fighting back. And again, the kids are all right. This school in New Haven fired teachers after they unionized rather than deal with their unions. See also, in recent memory on this stream, that Fox News host saying, oh, the two biggest teachers unions, they're so corrupt. Nah. Meanwhile, here's teachers just trying to, get some collective bargaining, and they're fired. And thankfully, the students said, nuh-uh, we ain't about that. And they are fighting back. But can't have that be in the news because that might give other students ideas. And we don't want to give students ideas about education and determination and direct action and solidarity and their rights and standing up for what they believe in and for good, just causes and supporting people in their communities. Can't have any of those things. That's all like liberal wokeness. Am I right, chat? Like, goddamn, the world is frustrating. Also, they want to bring back firing squads. I mean, yes, they also want to bring back what the white supremacists call the day of the rope, right? So, yeah, we're just going to hang all them traitors, which is why when there were nooses in front of Congress on January 6th, a lot of people, myself included, were like, oh, we're officially there now. Okay. So, yeah, fun times. I had a much better time in a public school I went to in Yakima, made tons of friends, but at private school, nope. So I haven't taught at a private school, but one of the places I taught at was a private academy. And like, there's a kind of standoffishness. People can still be friendly with each other, but it definitely kind of feels like, we're only here to put up with each other. And then we go away to our separate lives and times. We only contact each other for like projects and for making connections for our future inheritance of the world. It's a really weird vibe, but that's just in my experience. I don't know what it's like for actual private academies or for other private schools that people have been at or taught at. That's just my very limited anecdotal experience. We all get higher by uplifting each other. Rising tide raises all boats, or whatever the saying is. Wait, what did Birdie Blake do? Choo choo. Wait, did I do it wrong? What? I don't. Oh, a woke train going. Okay. Maybe a hype train eventually if I stream more consistently. Haha. But I see most people here are on YouTube and not Twitch. I think Matt is the only one on Twitch right now. It's probably a little lonely in the chat there, but I see him here in like the whole stream chat from like YouTube and Twitch. So yeah. Oh yeah, it was an academy, not a school. Okay, yeah. And like that's the thing, like academies are a little different because they're usually outside of school hours, which in a way for me was good, but it's also strange. But again, it was in Spain. It was a lovely time. Are you on both? Yes, I'm omnipresent. Oh, Syntax is also on Twitch. Yeah. So right now, and like I have some issues with how it's showing and how it's set up and stuff, and I'm not having many opportunities to change it unless I upgrade my plan. But I'm using Restream to stream simultaneously on YouTube and Twitch. So that way people can see me on whatever platform they prefer. So there's YouTube, there's Twitch. In the future, I may kind of do like alternative, like, yeah, on this Monday, I'll stream on Twitch. And on this Monday, I'll stream on YouTube. I'm not sure. This is a half decent compromise for now, but I have my issues with it. Just like I have my issues with the next story. Trucker convoy 2022 was met with protesters on I-205. I thought it was I-20S, but no. Trucker convoy 2022 was met with protesters on I-205 overpass. Truckers responded by attempting to spray protesters with fire hose and shooting off 2 rounds. They stopped traffic. Again, don't think I want to show this video because don't want to immediately mess with the stream and getting shut down. But yeah, apparently because some protesters on the overpass, and I think these might have been also the same protesters who were throwing paint-filled eggs at convoy participants. They tried to dislodge them with the fire hose, and again, actual gunshots. Granted, only 2 as warning shots, but you know, it brings us back to that problem of if all you have is a hammer, everything starts to look like a nail. Way too many Americans are going to the gun to solve things that don't need to be solved with a gun. Like, I'm literally a firearms owner and I'm saying this. Oh my fucking God. So, you know, yeah. Just good to see America's totally fine, upstanding place. Am I right, chat? The trucker convoy had a water truck. Well, this is a different trucker convoy. So this is the one I think for Oregon or Washington or just the Pacific Northwest in general. The infamous one in Ottawa did not have one of those. Let's see what else. Still have no idea what Twitch is. Streaming predominantly for gamers, but there's a bunch of different metas. You can do just chatting like this. So it's a thing. Yeah, just gamer streaming, but wider range. Yeah, exactly. Seems oddly prepared. I mean, I wouldn't call this prepared, but it's kind of life these days. But yeah, I'm just the main thing about me from this trucker convoy was the 2 gunshots at protesters. It's like, so it's fine when you stop traffic and slow down traffic and occupy cities and be obnoxious douchebags. And it's fine for you to, you know, fire back at these people, but it's not fine for them to protest or to counter protest, right? And I'm pretty sure if those protesters had been strapped and then they returned fire, oh, look at us, we're the victims. They totally attacked us when we're just minding our business. What happened to freedom of speech? Like, bro, you literally did not give them the same fucking courtesy. Like, absolutely ridiculous shit. Can we just cool it with the trucker convoys? Nope. It's the new stage of fascism. It's here to stay until we beat fascism. It's why they need to be actively confronted and fought back against, which is easier said than done, I know, but that's what's got to happen, folks. Which is next? Come on now. What do we got here? Oh, yeah, this one. Me, I think proctoring software is bad. TikTok has gotten 2.3 million. Oh, right. Sorry, I misread that. My TikTok. Blah. I'm tired and I'm hungry. I think proctoring software is bad TikTok has gotten 2.3 million views, and there's a lot of comments about students getting flagged for cheating by the eye tracker in their dorm room because they were crying during the test. What the fuck? Okay, so for those who are unaware, proctoring software is basically eye tracking software. So it can be like, it sees where your retina is looking on a screen. It sees if you're looking off to the side. It's also what they use to do like a retina scan. It's all part of it. It's part of like proctoring software. Now, the result of this is that this has all become far more implemented because of not only working from home, but learning from home, stay at home students and stuff like that over the course of the pandemic. So they've introduced this new terrifying dystopian aspect into young people's lives. I wonder why young people are depressed and angry. It's a mystery. But this is now being falsely flagged because students were crying during tests. I am so fucking done with the world, y'all. Oh my God. Like, hey, we saw it. We think you were cheating because you were crying during a test. Like, holy fuck. Like, imagine being the person saying this. I'm hoping that they stopped and thought, wait, what am I doing? Everything here is so ridiculous and ludicrous, especially if you found out what the actual result was of students crying during the test because, they didn't prepare. It was a really difficult question. They just had a lot going on in their lives. They wish they could actually be there. They hate, like learning from home, studying from home, whatever it may be. And they're crying. And then you confront them later. It's like, hey, we think you're cheating because, the software that we have to basically spy on you while you're in class online is doing this. Like, has no one just sort of stopped to think that is absolutely insane? Like, insane, ludicrous nonsense. Did no one stop to think of that? So, yeah, welcome to the Dystopian Scuffed stream, folks. When are people going to get fed up with this fucking system? I ask myself this question every day. When is enough going to be enough? What is the proverbial straw that breaks the camel's back? I'm sure it'll be something stupid. Like in Chile, for example, it ended up being a few cents rise on subway fare in the capital of Santiago, I think. And that spawned the revolution. So in America, it could be something like, like it'll be like, sorry, we had to up the price of the Denny's Grand Slam by $3, and that's when the Second American Revolution kicks off. I don't fucking know. And it's all automated, right? So can you even try to speak up and say what actually happened? I have no idea. Again, this is the Nightmare Dystopia stream. This sucks. Oh, we really got everyone. Yeah, like everyone's here because I'm the cool kid. Except I'm really not. But again, to take a break from like all this horribleness, I'm definitely seeing a lot of people that I've seen either on Twitch, other Twitch streams, or on their own Twitch streams, or on Twitter. Thank you all for being here, especially with basically like no advance notice or warning. It's just really great to see all y'all here. I well and truly appreciate it. And it is making this much more fun as opposed to me screaming into the void about like 40 plus stories. As an autistic, the eye scanning sounds terrifying. I might not be looking at what they want me to be because it's overwhelming. Yeah, I still cannot fully make eye contact with people. I'm always looking like just off to the side because like looking right in the eye is like, no, thank you. So, yeah, not fun. Yeah, it's frustrating. Absolutely. I switched to Twitch so it isn't lonely. Hey, there you go, Adnan. There you go. Oh, geez, more chats. Again, I am bad at this. As a teacher, can we please just introduce a school system designed to help students meet their potential and test you don't have to cheat on instead of mentally breaking students? Once again, I encourage people to look at the Finnish, somewhat decentralized model of education. Again, not perfect, still fascinating and really good in a lot of ways. Or the T-Boston's transport system makes me want to. I have no idea what that is. You'll have to tell me on Twitter. Free speech. Boomers are going to start the second Civil War. If I actually had to put money, like I guess they would be, but if I had to like get really specific about who's going to start the second Civil War, it's going to be QAnon. Like someone in QAnon, whether they're a boomer or not, it's going to be Q. Let students vote on their schooling. That's how colleges started. There are more pushes for student unionization, especially in the wake of the pandemic, whether it's in colleges, universities, but also high schools. Students are forming unions, which is absolutely amazing to see. And it's something that hasn't been talked about as much in terms of the whole, like, look, it's Starbucks unionizing and we're fighting at Amazon to unionize. Unionization has been happening everywhere. It's one of the few good things to have come out of this pandemic. I'm a huge fan of democratic schooling, such as the Sudbury model. I'm not familiar with the Sudbury model. Please share with us while we move on to the next story of many. Oh God, I gotta hurry this up. Okay, so here's the next story. So we got this, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18 more stories. Like I said, it's been a long ass month. So this one right here. A city in Oklahoma just made having multiple roommates illegal, basically making poor people illegal. Our current situation here would be illegal in Oklahoma. Shawnee unanimously passes ordinance banning co-living. Second paragraph in here. The Shawnee City Council voted 8-0 to ban co-living, becoming among the first Kansas City area municipalities to prevent the practice, which has gained popularity in recent years as rent and home prices have soared. So yeah, you know how like people have roommates now in order to make ends meet? Because like, boy, geez, I can't handle a $2,800 a month like mortgage or a lease on some kind. But hey, if I share that with, a couple other friends or some comrades, and I only have to pay maybe 1,250, or perhaps if we have, more people, that like there's 4 of us, there's so-and-so and their partner, and then the other roommate, and then me. So there's 4 of us, we split the bills evenly. So I only pay like $800 a month. That's actually kind of like not too bad based on my work. I know I'm doing a lot of overtime and working 2 jobs to make ends meet, but this is manageable. Apparently, Oklahoma no like that. And so, no, we're banning people from living together. It's a health and safety issue as opposed to criminalizing poor people, which brings us to something right under this tweet, as someone points out. This part, this is really bad. This could be weaponized in so many ways. We are so supremely fucked. Stated that if one adult is unrelated to another adult, then the entire group will be classified as unrelated. So, not only are people not allowed to live together in the state of Oklahoma, or at least in like this suburb of Oklahoma City or Kansas City or whatever it was, basically in this area of the Midwest, or maybe it's just on the edge of the South. I don't know what people constitute as the South in America. Not only are you not allowed to live with people, but if it's found out that so much as one adult in that habitation, so like, sure, you can have like a single family, but if so much as one adult is unrelated, then everyone in that group is deemed unrelated. That breaks up families. That breaks up alternate family structures. Hey, wait a second. What if your I don't know, 2 gay dads or 2 gay moms who adopted a child. Oh, whoops. This is the nightmare dystopia shit right here. It's like, it is so infuriating. And so even if you're just a couple of friends or students trying to get a place together, you are still in trouble here because it's suddenly illegal. So like what, maybe even a felony charge or something? Absolutely ridiculous. If you try and force it, say, yeah, we're totally all related. And then if they catch you in that, you lied to law enforcement, bye-bye, go to jail, and you don't have voting rights anymore. Welcome to America, right? So thankfully, this is just like one story in one tiny corner of the vastness that is America, but still not a good sign. And unfortunately, even just by bringing attention to it, there's probably some people out there thinking, oh, wait, that's a really good idea. We should totally do that now. And that's why I hate this timeline with the burning passion of a million fiery supernovas. Oh, crap. I know that township. Oh, God. What's up with the township? Oklahoma is run by a queen, the church lady. Okay. I got to go, but fun stream. Thank you, Emily, for being here. Thank you. Thank you. And I think you said you're going to tag me or something on Twitter. I look forward to it after stream. And again, thank you so much for being here. So 2 spouses and a couple of in-laws. If you're not related to your in-laws, get out. Probably, like, again, this is actually such a short-sighted and horrible idea. I still haven't seen much about like the Sudbury model. More about Sudbury model, even if it's on Twitter or something. Notonaby Township, Ontario, co-living was banned in the Senate to prevent communes. Ugh. God, this is why we actually do just need to like stop listening to these people and just create our own structures. Of like, all right, Democratic Citizens Council, we all vote and agree to participate in this, and we recognize as the law of the land. All agree, and like it's a fair voting practice. Like, okay, all right, it's a start. That'd be nice, but we don't live in a nice timeline. You were close to a Sudbury school growing up, could have had it all. Rip. Man, there's so much chat for me to catch up on. I am so sorry about this. And it keeps going. Wait, that seriously sounds like a workaround for incest unless the parents are related. I have no idea. It's the South. It's like rural country. It's again, we live in the bad timeline, folks. That housing rule is crazy. How did they even arrive at the idea that they need to ban roommates? I'm not even sure. It's just so short-sighted. It's like health and safety, or no, rent out more places, give us more of your money. Like, it's just absolutely ridiculous stuff. Well, we're doomed. We don't have to be. We absolutely do not have to be doomed. Now, like, everyone's saying hi to each other. Hilda Bees is saying hi to Adnan. Adnan saying hi to Maddie. It's good vibes here, and with the background of this terribleness. All right, next up. Oh, mental health in America. This is funny. So we are going to do the specific audio thing for this one. This is definitely frustrating when I have to like stop sharing and then individually share the audio. All right, here we go. Reddit, once again, I'm asking you for that. Once I click play, unmute yourself. Good Lord.
Hi, is this the Don't Unalive Yourself hotline? Yes, it is. How can I help you? Well, I'm calling because I was thinking about unaliving myself. Okay, do you have a plan? A plan for what? Unaliving yourself. What happens if I say yes? Well, in that case, we would send a team of police to your house to forcibly take you to a local hospital or institution where you will be confined against your will for 3 to 5 days. If you have children, we will file a CPS report. That doesn't sound good. This will also cost you thousands of dollars if you don't have insurance, and you probably won't be able to follow up with a primary care doctor without insurance or fill prescriptions. You know what? I think I'm okay. I think I'm fine. So glad to hear that. Call back anytime you need help. We care. Uh-huh.
America. Wasn't that just great? Wasn't that just great, everybody? Doesn't that just give you the warm fuzzies? Yeah, welcome to Left to Stream. We all know each other. Everything sucks. We all keep sending each other the same $20 on PayPal. Oh, I feel attacked. Oh, but damn if that ain't the truth. The roommate bans to prevent undesirables from moving into more expensive areas for work. Ooh, yeah, maybe. Yeah. Like, again, we live in the bad timeline. But yeah, so, mental health basically being criminalized in the States because, that's what someone who's in mental distress needs to hear. That's how, oh, by the way, you need to be sure about this because otherwise you may be sued. We may take your children into custody if we catch you and then throw you into like basically jail, but in hospital. Absolutely unhinged stuff. Uptime is half of 420. Okay, hey, there we go. Definitely cannot stay that late though, because I do have other things I would like to do this evening. But yeah. Peterborough. Yeah, nearly no one I know likes Peterborough. I'm hoping that can eventually change in the near future. But like basically Ontario is a nightmare province. Let's be real here. Any timeline is better than this one. As someone who has written alternate history timelines, I firmly disagree with that notion. There's definitely a worse one, for example, where Trump is still president and it's openly a fascist theocracy at this point. So, there are worse timelines out there. Don't jinx it. All right, next up. Oh, I have to share the screen again. Louisiana is voting on a bill to criminalize IUDs and plans on charging women with murder for using them. I remind folks that if you are, put in jail and it's a crime like this, if it's made a felony, the vast majority of felons in America can't vote. Discreet way of overturning the 19th Amendment. Oh yeah, condoms could be covered under this law? Yeah. Yeah, it's like, no, listen, we need the domestic supply of infants. It's all about birthing. So what if you're not ready and become resentful and can't actually care for or raise the child? That's what adoption is for. It's not like adoption is totally broken and basically a form of human trafficking at this point, especially in America, but also here in Canada. Let's be real. No. It's totally, it's about protecting the sanctity of life and not about the domestic supply of infants, because white people got spooked by their dwindling numbers in terms of the share of the nation that they hold. So it's like, oh God, we're only 76% white in America. We got to turn that around. Come on, have them babies, even if you're not ready. If you think about safe sex, we're either going to kill you or put you in jail. Come on now, kids. Also, do you know what having a baby does to a body? I do not. I am a man, but from what I've heard, it's rough. It is very rough. It's a jail we call a hospital. I mean, yeah, basically. So, yeah, there's also a timeline where Bernie won in 2016. I want that timeline. I want that timeline so bad. Not because I'd be like, yeah, Bernie, all problems are solved. I would still have a great many gripes and be fighting back against them. But that timeline would still be difficult, like all the pushback against the reforms he's trying to do, but it would definitely be better. That, or unfortunately, like at his inauguration, he'd be assassinated because like, we can't let him unionize stuff. Adoption sucks major. I ended up with a horrible conservative parent who believed spanking was the only course of action. Yeah, like these are unfortunate side effects, right? We're in the mirror universe of Star Trek where the Vulcans show up and we start blasting. Yeah, maybe. I still maintain that humans are basically space orcs from Space Australia. That's definitely going to be us. Like people would be like, there's no way there's any life on like this asteroid. They're like, we're totally fine here. And it's like a pirate base with 200 scurvy infested humans who believe in like some kind of weird sun god and then they like flay the aliens alive and be like, okay, never go into that system again. Like, that's our future. Let's be real here. Yeah, if we can get some solidarity and support for Kara Gillock for her unfortunate upbringing under conservative parents who believe that spanking was the best way of discipline, which studies have shown is not the case. But since when do these people care about facts? Oh, yeah, this. So, you know, the subreddit Insane People of Facebook is a goddamn gift. Someone on Facebook was saying, I just saw a pharmaceutical commercial peddling HPV vaccines for kids starting at the age of 9. 9! Which, as the author who shared this points out, FYI, between 9 and 12 is standard for the HPV vaccine. Yeah, the human papillomavirus vaccine is given to pre-teens and older children. This isn't actually news. It's like being surprised, like, what do you mean they want my child to start their shots after certain months? For stuff like mumps and rubella, yeah. Like, these people are so fucking exhausting. And it's only worse because they got in on the whole COVID thing, and now they're just rejecting all kinds of shots. It's like, what, you mean I need to get vaccinated to go to India? Yeah, I got like 3 shots in this arm and 2 in this arm, because like, hey, since you're going to a country that doesn't always provide clean water and there's malaria infested mosquitoes, here's your malaria pills. Take them for a week before you go over there. Here's your traveler's diarrhea pills. Here's your shot for typhus. Here's your shot for yellow fever. Here's your shot for like dengue or whatever. Like, they gave me a bunch of different shots so that I wouldn't get sick traveling to a different country for work. This is actually normal operating procedure. But these people are just like, no, because COVID bad, and therefore it all bad. Zero sum. And it's so exhausting. All right, what are the chatters up to? Where are we here? My parents were that conservative, but they were spankers. No. Okay, according, and if I don't know if my mom or dad are watching, but according to them, they did spank me on rare occasions when I was like exceptionally bad. But there's literally, like, according to my mom, only 2 instances before the age of 5 where I was spanked, and even then, not like terribly hard. And I don't even remember it happening. And then even like being a kid and growing up, I was disciplined. Like, stuff was like taken away, like in terms of privilege. Like, nope, you know what? No TV. You got to focus on school. Yeah, and then I would. But like, no hitting, no abuse. Apparently, I was spanked like a small handful of times when I was under the age of 5. Don't even remember it. So take that for what it's worth, I guess. Well, that Framing 101 article goes into why corporal punishment remains so popular among conservatives. I'm just going to take a wild guess and say power dynamic. Because like, finally, I get to be in the position of power. I'm wearing the boot. What do conservatives conserve anyway? Their occupation seems to be yanking the hands of the clock back to the feudal ages. Well, yeah, they want to conserve what they feel they're losing between their fingertips, which is the world that is catered to them. HPV is for an STI? Yeah. I tend to pity party a lot about the past, but that call out really means a lot. I mean, like, I know I'm not great at managing this community. I know I should be more active on YouTube comments, hopefully get a Discord going at some point. Obviously, doing streams like this. But this is also my community, right? Like, I appreciate that. Like, I still can't believe there's nearly 4,000 of you now as YouTube subscribers. And there's like several dozen who follow me on Twitch, and the connections I've made and collaborations I've made. Like, yeah, I want to succeed and be happy and content. And I want that for the people who support me and that I interact with that seem like cool, chill people. It's part of why I'm a leftist. I don't want to see suffering when there doesn't need to be suffering. A vaccine password, if you will. It's basically what in fact, actually, hang on. Let me see here. Unrelated, I have a death note. Where are we? That's the old cards. Dang it. Oh. Yeah, here we are. Official Canada immunization record. Needed this for traveling overseas. Let me just check off camera if I need to hide anything. Nope. Oh, it's so broken and waterlogged because it's so old. Oh my god. But yeah, like most recent ones from in this one anyway, from 2017. I've obviously had more since then because I was in India recently. But yeah, like a whole bunch of different shots administered and shows the doctor and everything in 2017, which was one of the last times I went to India. Oh no, I've been pumped full of poison. The globalists are getting me because they don't want me shitting myself to death in a village in India. Oh, unreal. Yeah, the vaccine is needed before they're sexually active for 9-year-olds. It's because too many 10-year-olds already got the trace of the virus. I'm still not entirely sure like how it all works, but like it's just like why are we politicizing basic public health precautions? Why is that a thing? That should not be a thing. Bothered by spilling the tea on parents. It's like a little bit of tea, and like one of these days I'm hoping to get my dad on stream so everyone can get the whole like, what was it like growing up in a third world country and under a military dictatorship? I'm going to record that. I'm going to shove that in the face of everyone who's like, preventing me from traveling internationally is tyranny. It's like, you have no fucking clue. You're doing your best. You'll figure it out eventually, BB, and you can just ask if you need help. Thank you. I appreciate that. Already, like, after some initial kinks, there's still a few kinks to be worked out here. I'm not sure I necessarily like the restream thing, but all in all, I'm still having a great time here. And thank you all for being here. I well and truly appreciate it. It's making this a lot more palatable. We suffer in solidarity. Oof, from Fly. I'm one of those who were a forced birth, and my mom made sure I knew that she never wanted me. Ow. Well, for what it's worth, I appreciate having you here. I like seeing your comments and your interactions. So thank you for being here. If no one else appreciates you, at least I do. Sheesh. Yeah, and people are talking, like seeing some of these comments, and people are talking about how adoption is the solution. It's like, you really have no idea what you're talking about, do you? Just talk to people who've gone through the adoption system and the foster care system, and you'll see it's broken and bad. Dang. I had one of those passports too. I had to get typhoid and encephalitis to go to Japan. They had mosquitoes who bite folks who go to sleep, sometimes permanently. Yeah, given dystopia, that could be a plus. Yeah, maybe. All I know is like one of the things about malaria is that if you catch it, you're basically immune afterwards, but you can't give blood because the infection is still there. At least if memory serves me correctly. Mother of the Year. I mean, this is also why we were talking about, in Mother's Day about those who have, stressed issues with their moms, mothers who lost children. Like, motherhood is complicated, and I do want to celebrate, the good mothers out there and those who are aspiring towards being good mothers. But again, like, just, some of these comments come back to the whole unnecessary need for suffering. And this also ties back into that Fox News segment we were watching earlier about, we need to give more control back to parents because parents don't like what their kids are learning in school, which is pushing back on parental bullshit. Like, it's ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. Oh, yeah. About media, right? So the fact that I know more about Johnny Depp and Amber Heard's relationship than I do about the crimes committed by Ginny and Clarence Thomas shows exactly what is terribly wrong with today's political mainstream media. Yeah, I am so tired of seeing all the wrong things being talked about and all the wrong angles for news stories, rather than like what's important and what needs to be done in terms of the climate crisis, getting over the pandemic, holding our politicians to account, exposing hypocrisy, corruption, who's in whose pocket. There are places that are doing the good work out there, including here in Canada. That's why basically, like, I use CBC and CTV to like get screen grabs for like videos and stuff, and like sources that some people will trust. But for the most part, I consume my media through Breach Media and Ricochet Media now as Canadian outlets. CBC is not great. CTV is right of center, so not great either. And yet all this stuff, and like we see this on Twitter, right? All this coverage about, oh, look at what's going on. Apparently Amber Heard shat Johnny Depp's bed. And I know about that now. How many other people know about the fact that the ongoing like violence happening in Yemen, Ethiopia, Syria, exposés about the connection between journalists and politicians and elites, not only here in Canada, but in the States? We had, what were they called? The Pandora Papers. Those went nowhere. Like, it is so deeply frustrating. But hey, don't you know? Kyle Lowry is a really good basketball player. Like, it is so deeply frustrating, and it's increasingly looking like Don't Look Up was a prophetic as fuck film. So, you know, this is something that really resonated with me a while back. Now we are into the Canadian stories. I saved all the Canadian stories for last because, you know, almost no one wants to hear Canadian stories. But first, let's quickly check in with chat. Global News, right of center too. Yeah, most Canadian media is right of center. It's really bad. I'm seeing so much solidarity in the chat. This is great. The Bother Brigade is great. After they toss Assange in the dungeon, people with journalistic education want to talk about celebs instead of politics. Unfortunately, right, because of capitalism, that's what sells. That's what gets clicks and advertising revenue, which is what drives news media these days, which is not how it should be. But again, that's the system that capitalism has set up for us. Oh, I'm here for Canadian stories, even if they're also going to be miserable. People need to know that we are not a socialist paradise. Was a great clip a few weeks back. That was pretty much straight out of Don't Look Up. Yeah. Oh, Canada, when will you ever give a fuck? Not until it's too late. So, yeah, here we go. Let me change the screen so that we can actually read the full headline. New evidence that hospital pressure to axe doctor who criticized Ford government on pandemic. As y'all know, I've been very vocal in my criticism of Doug Ford's handling of the pandemic here in Ontario. It's called Ontariable for a great many reasons. And several doctors have actually pushed back against this. This one in particular basically got the brunt of it. What's his name? Brooks Falls. Okay, hang on. Instead of looking through the screen, let's look at the actual one. Yeah, Brooks Fallis paid a price for advocacy in one grotty corner of this system. So, yeah, he was like, it's behind a paywall, but you know, there is I'm gonna show people right now. There's a 12-foot ladder for that. Oh, you know me so well, Google. Just autocomplete that. And there you go. Paywall eliminated. Literal life hack, kids. So yeah, it's a whole thing. He criticized the government, and it's clear as a result that he was fired for doing so and pressured to do so by people tied to the government of Ontario, a conservative government, by the way, who support freedom of speech. And excuse me, that just came out of nowhere. Oh my God. So yeah, they support freedom and freedom of speech. Isn't that just so lovely where they can fire doctors? Hey, also remember a while back when they told people, hey, we got a freedom convoy rolling through Toronto and they don't like nurses and doctors very much. So don't wear clothes that identify you as a medical practitioner in the interest of your own safety, meaning it was safer to be a Nazi in public in Canada than a supposed frontline hero healthcare worker. Welcome to Ontario. It's open for business. Oh, yeah. This story pissed me off. Toronto landlord tries to rent out 3 individual beds in the same room for $420 nice dollars each. So, oh no, sorry. Blaze it. Nice is the 69 number. Like I said, I am tired and I am hungry. So in a polar opposite to that story from the South about we ban you from living with roommates, Toronto's encouraging people to live as roommates to the point that they have no personal space, no decor, one desk, 2 chairs, 3 beds, $420 each. Toronto needs to be stopped. I swear to God. Oh, good Lord. Oh, I like hearing Canadian stories. Borders don't do jack shit to contain politics. Very unfortunately true. The Americanization of Canadian politics continues. Yeah, freedom of speech only for conservative bullshit. Uh-huh. You didn't realize Bother Boy was streaming on Twitch? Yep, I'm on both, baby. I had that level of cohabitation at the Air Force Academy as a cadet. Yeah, these are more like barracks rather than, you know, a place to call your own. This is ridiculous. Oh, yeah, bring out the ladder. Yep, the 12-foot ladder. Yep. All landlords truly are parasites. Look, I don't agree with Chairman Mao, on everything. Dude had some very good observations about landlords, though. Just saying. And to think I tried to run away to Canada. Look, it's not all bad, but it's still a nightmare state up here. Like, it's not great. And especially, like, the real estate situation across Canada is terrible, but it's like famous, or rather infamous up here, what's going on in Toronto and how terrible Toronto and Vancouver are. They are like if I had to say the podium, the top placing podium in Ottawa of like terrible real estate stories, Toronto absolutely first place, or like maybe tied for first place with Vancouver. And then we have Montreal, and then it's probably like, I don't know, maybe Ottawa or like Calgary or something. One of the other like next largest cities. But yeah, it's and I agree. Alberta is the worst in terms of a competition of which is the worst Canadian province. It's Alberta, Ontario, and then Quebec and New Brunswick are tied for third place. Wait, no, Saskatchewan is in third. Okay. Alberta. Wait, no. Yeah, okay. Alberta is the worst. Saskatchewan's second worst. Ontario's third worst. Quebec and New Brunswick tied for 4th/5th place. There we go. Oh, and speaking of the Americanization of Canadian politics, Conservative leadership candidate Leslie Lewis claims Bill Gates is behind a plot against Canada. Lewis tells supporters proposed World Health Organization treaty will let Microsoft Windows creator Bill Gates undermine Canadian sovereignty. Leslie Lewis is a woman who did very well in the previous Conservative Party leadership. She's running again. She's a likely contender against Pierre Poilievre and Jean Charest. So she may potentially win, depending, who knows. So, yeah, let's see what she had to say. In the statement, the Conservative leadership candidate suggests Canada would be surrendering control over its own country to a global health body. Under this treaty, Canada would essentially be surrendering our national health sovereignty to the show when it comes to responding to pandemics. Global cooperation is not a bad thing. Global interdependent exploitation is a bad thing. But it doesn't mean like globalization as a net term is automatically bad. It's just what most people think of as globalization, which is related to money and capitalism, is absolutely terrible and fucking sucks and needs to stop. In terms of the world working together to ease the transition of like people and goods and have the same set of regulations and share information freely and easily and allow people to move and study freely and easily, those are all very good things, actually. So yeah, this lady who is also very much anti-abortion, she, like Pierre, would open it up again. She could win potentially. So, you know, there's that. Yeah, Toronto is like a quarter of the problem. Yeah. She's bloody awful. Yeah, Leslie Lewis is not great, but she really like speaks like to the heart of a lot of social conservatives, and so she's very popular with the conservative crowd. Housing in Canada is like 7 times worse than the situation that caused the 2008 crash for scale. Oh yeah. Yeah, it's a bad situation up here. Wish you could leave, but you're stuck. Marry a Canadian, marry an Aussie, marry a New Zealander, marry someone from a non-nightmare country. All right, we're kind of doing the speed run here of some of these. Hey, yes, y'all remember Budrino, friend of the channel? So, you know, he was there in downtown Ottawa, apparently, when the Freedom Convoy first rolled in. Got a lot of my info from him, and it was a fucking nightmare. Oh, hang on. Bethro Budkin 07. Hi, Bothered Boy. Long time lurker here. Love your vids being easy, bite-sized rants that still do a good job at delving into issues. Thank you. You are yet another reason why that person on Reddit did not know what they were talking about. I love it. Thank you for those kind words. I really, truly appreciate comments like that, even though I'm not always sure how to accept them. I'm trying to get better at accepting compliments, but yeah. Still not great at it, but thank you. Oh, where does Nova Scotia fit in there? We want to be as awful as the rest of the provinces. It's why we elected conservative Tim Houston last year. Okay, Nova Scotia is bad, but as far as the like conservative provinces go, which again, for those not not aware, with the exception of I think BC and Newfoundland and Labrador, all the provinces from Alberta to Nova Scotia are provincially governed by conservatives. And the Aussie surveillance state is an absolute nightmare. I'm not entirely familiar. You're going to have to share with us that. Oh yeah, Jean Charest. Oh god, I'll probably do a video on Jean Charest at some point. It's like a history video, because I remember being a kid and hearing his name, and a lot of people liked him, but I was just like, why? This man is objectively terrible. He's worse than Mike Harris in some ways. But anyway, back to Budrino here. He's saying, remember when the Freedom Convoy people parked wherever they wanted without getting tickets because Bilo was too afraid to do anything? But now the city has got to get those ticket quotas up. So the city of Ottawa bylaw officers who like give tickets and fines to people who are like partying too loudly, parked incorrectly, parked overnight when they shouldn't be, parked in like snow drifts or in alleyways, and blah, 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 blah. They are basically the fun police, right? No one must like them at all, I'm assuming, except for maybe their loved ones. And even then, it's like, don't tell them that you work there, sweetie. Apparently, they took pride in posting this thing, making a delivery. You cannot park on a sidewalk, regardless of whether you use your hazard lights. Ticket, $110. So there's someone just trying to make a delivery, just trying to work, trying to live their life, doing what they can with already a limited parking position. And here's Bila that didn't ticket the trucker saying, oh yeah, here you go, ticket. Here's the thing. This story gets worse. Within a 1 hour period yesterday, an officer issued tickets for the following offenses. 1, park in accessible space, no permit. 2, expired permit. 2 expired permits, actually. 3, misuse of accessible parking permit. They ticketed disabled people. Oh my fucking God. So, real quick, this was brought to my attention by like a follower on Twitter. And they decided to actually like ask the city, hey, like, what's the actual deal with this? Can you give us a bit more information? Ottawa bylaw doubled down on them being the villain in the situation. You ticketed the disabled people who those permits were for, or someone else for using said expired permits? Because if it's option 1, you can't be reformed. It makes the system predatory, correct? If it's option 2, this sort of makes sense, but still isn't something to brag about. So they responded, Ottawa by with, the reason for the tickets for expired is that the permits are not always extended by the province. For example, the first permit was a temporary one that was only ever valid for 1 month. If they can show proof of renewal, the tickets will be withdrawn. Who the fuck has time for that these days? And oh, it's up to the province. You mean the neoliberal nightmare province of Doug Ford, conservative premier, nightmare ghoul in chief of On Terrible? No fucking thank you. Like, all of this, while they didn't ticket the fucking freedom convoy. Like, someone in Ottawa could clearly make a good go of like some kind of warning system of, hey, here's bylaw and where they are, and good citizens just kind of be like, no, you know what, we still aren't forgiving you for what you didn't do during the freedom convoy. And people should just literally take tickets from people, rip them up, and throw them in trash cans, or burn them with lighters, or throw them in like what do you call them, like sewer grates and stuff, like storm drains and all that. Just get rid of it. And Bo's like, what's happening? It's like, no, fuck you, bylaw. This is ridiculous. Ticketing disabled people. Oh, well, it's expired. No, the law is the law. Fuck you. Unjust laws deserve to be broken. Do it now, Ottawa. You deserve some peace and happiness. Screw bylaw. This is ridiculous. Look up AUKUS. Oh, okay, that thing. I need more of it, but yeah. No, they weren't disabled. Clearly their disability had expired. Right? Isn't that just so convenient? Oh my God. Okay, so basically the US and UK are outsourcing their surveillance to Australia because privacy rights there are so lax. Oh, man. Like, again, if there's any part of Australia that's going to survive the coming storm, it's Tasmania. Go there and foment a revolution in Tasmania. I hate it when cars have to park near sidewalk because they park so close if I have to walk around them. So there's various problems, right? Like when cars park also on like non-separated bike lanes, that's also a safety issue. Like there's just so much to unpack with all this terribleness. Oh no, not Peterborough again. This is yep. So I know I talked about this before, like I shared this on Twitter before, but it bears repeating in like an actual video because I haven't done the video, like the kind of post-pandemic video yet that I'm hopefully working on. But yeah, Peterborough Regional Health Center is advising residents to seek alternative sources of care if possible, as the hospital endures the 6th wave of the COVID-19 pandemic with staffing shortages and a record number of inpatients with the illness. That's a really neat way of saying that the healthcare system in Peterborough has collapsed. When the hospital and its staff and its workers have to say, don't come here, you need to find alternative solutions to what's supposed to be a publicly funded healthcare system, shows that the fucking pandemic is not over. This is a real crisis. And at least locally in Peterborough, the healthcare system has functionally collapsed. Like our friends in chat have been saying, there's a reason why people leave Peterborough. Yikes, I haven't been back in a bit, but I'm pretty sure there's like no other options for hospital care in Peterborough. You'd have more of an idea than me. There might be a few private clinics, like an Apple Tree Medical Clinic or something, or some other kind of like public clinic. Either way, not good for the three reasons I mentioned. What are those people on disabilities don't fucking expire? Welcome to Ottawa bylaw. Ottawa, the city that fun forgot, and then they have their own fun police. Ottawa City bylaw or whatever. Like yeah, that they need to go away. Losers. Yes, they are losers. Ottawa bylaw are losers. All right. Again, I definitely need to get going soon. We're getting through it, folks. We're nearly done. Oh, yes. Okay. Share the screen better so people can see it. Mounting evidence, Canada trained Ukrainian extremists. Government needs to be held to account, say experts. We have talked about this before. I think I even made mention of it in one of my Ukraine videos. Just go watch the Ukraine video playlist on my YouTube channel. But our officials were more concerned with people finding out that they were working with and training neo-Nazis than they were horrified by the revelation that they were working with and training neo-Nazis. So to reiterate, the normal reaction when you find out that you have been, hopefully accidentally, with neo-Nazis or supporting neo-Nazis or training them is, Oh my God. I had no idea. Nope, that's it. No, pull back the funding. Oh God, I am so embarrassed. This is terrible. No, I did. Oh no, no, bad. No, that's the appropriate response. The appropriate response is not, oh well, I guess we better keep working with them. I just hope nobody finds out that we're working with fascists. That would be terrible. That's not the right response, but that's the response Canada had. Bylaws are stupid. Yep. So basically, let's see. With matching evidence pointing to the Canadian Armed Forces having trained members of Ukraine's military who also reported to be part of extremist groups, see right sector, Azov battalion, etc. Experts say Ottawa needs to strongly bolster its investigation and vetting of the soldiers it trains and arms in the embattled country. Technically, they have the resources to do that. This brings us back to that other article that I had actually shared and brought to light like a month or so ago, pointing out that they knew. They just didn't care. From the Department of National Defense to actual government officials, including like deputy ambassadors or something like that, they did not fucking care. They cared more that people might find out than they did about funding fascists in Ukraine. So this whole, they need to do better. That so misses the plot, right? And that's part of why, again, stuff like CTV is actually objectively terrible. It's only good for a jumping point like this for ranting, but the actual core organization of the story, right? Absolute garbage. This is less than useful. This is terrible. It doesn't actually bring to light the fact that they knew and they didn't care. And then, can't talk about that because that would maybe make people start to question governments and their legitimacy of like, well, wait, if they knew and they didn't question and they were more afraid of being caught, well, then we should actually fire all these people. We should be protesting in front of Parliament Hill and the Department of National Defense for that, because my grandfather didn't fight in World War II fighting Nazis, only to have his own government turn around decades later and support Nazis now. Or if your grandfather died, God forbid, in World War II, they died fighting Nazis, and now the government is like supporting Nazis. What the hell is this? That might get a lot of people out in the streets, but we can't report on that part of the story, or we can't promote that everywhere. The algorithm instead means the Kardashians are more important to the collective consciousness of humanity, apparently. The nearest other hospital to Peterborough is Lindsay, 40 minutes by car. Oof. Oh boy, more war crimes. Yay. Yeah, but we have fun here. All right. Next story. Conservative John Tory, who's the mayor of Toronto and former hopeful Ontario PC leader, the Progressive Conservative Party, that is, who sits on the board of Rogers being one of the big three telecom companies in Canada, has had his minions quietly pull the plug on a plan to connect low-income residents to cheap, high-speed internet. Hey, just go do this stuff online, but we're not going to make internet cheap or a public utility. You got to let the capitalists have their money, baby. We can't be an actual government and govern and provide services for our citizens. What is this? Sometime before 1980? Get with the times, losers. So yeah, the city will pull the plug on cheap, fast internet for low-income Torontonians because, they have money to spare, right? Internet is a right and should be free. Absolutely. It's utterly ridiculous that it's not. Why aren't the Freedom Convoy protesting that shit? So stupid. Right. Okay. So we're wrapping up with some pretty good dystopia. I'm hoping people can see some of this here. This is about as big as I could get, unless maybe if I open it up in a new... Not much better, but anyway, it'll do. So, medical assistance in dying, otherwise known as MAID, is legislation that was recently passed. Now, on the surface, I do support this concept, not this legislation, but the concept of letting people choose to end their lives on their terms. That is not ultimately a bad thing to prevent, suffering and very gruesome, painful, extended, excruciating deaths. In that sense, I agree this should be a thing. The problem is how this was implemented. So there aren't additional supports to help people. And so what MAID has done is it's basically made it more advantageous, air quotes, for people to functionally commit suicide because they can't acquire adequate housing. They can't acquire jobs because we keep people on ODSP in pure fucking dirt poverty. It's ridiculous. As people saw, 2,000 a month was a great big help. It still wasn't necessarily enough for some people, but the disability payments in Ontario are like 1,200, not even a month, if you're lucky. That can't provide shelter, that can't provide food, that can't provide quality of life. And so the result, as we've seen, as we've talked about recently with some videos and stuff, the result is disabled people and immune compromised people and people on disability are choosing to kill themselves because they just can't have a meaningful life anymore, because they can't qualify for enough assistance. They can't, get secure housing that helps deal with their health problems. It's absolutely terrible. And unfortunately, with this, it's getting worse. MAID legislation. In Canada, medical assistance in dying has been legal since June 2016. MAID is provided to a patient in accordance with the Criminal Code of Canada, which outlines the eligibility requirements and process. A revised law was passed on March 17, 2021, which amends the criminal code to allow MAID for those individuals whose natural death is not reasonably foreseeable. That's kind of concerning. Here's the other concerning part. By March 2023, a process for people whose mental illness is the sole underlying health condition will be developed and implemented. So those last 2 points together mean if you are just super depressed and feel like ending your life, maybe there you go. MAID is going to be legal for you. Hey, do you want to maybe not deal with your mental illness anymore? Have you considered killing yourself? This is what the government of Canada is legit saying to people. They're saying it to disabled people now. They're going to say it to the mentally ill in the future, and anyone who's, near-term death is not reasonably foreseeable. This is some nightmare dystopia shit, and it's happening here in Canada. God, that's depressing. I was on ODSP up until last year. I'm just going to scream now. Yeah. Primal screaming. Yeah, I support assisted suicide and also support making as few people need it as possible. Yeah, like we should have proper supports in place. It should only be something that is available to people who absolutely need it in this regard. Instead, it's opening up the floodgates to like, are you depressed? Medical assistance in dying. Can't get affordable housing? Medical assistance in dying. Are you bipolar? Medical assistance in dying. This is eugenics. Like, that's what this is. This is eugenics, plain and simple. Best country in the world, baby. Let's go. Yeah. Oh, Canada, our home on native land. Ugh. Yeah. I get SSI and I can barely afford groceries. It's an obscene system. This story is giving the opposite of warm and fuzzy feelings. Yeah, sorry. Again, welcome to the Nightmare Dystopia stream. Like it's pure eugenics, and not enough people are talking about this. I again saw this because I follow and I have followers who are themselves disabled and are massive disability advocates. No one's really picking up on this. Like, it's so depressing. But like I said, folks, we're nearly done. Yeah, can expanding MAID to include mental illness and disabled chronically ill people who aren't dying has me so worried. This will be used in so many terrible ways to get rid of us. Yep, unfortunately. So, penultimate story here is it was in the news recently that Canada supposedly lifted the blood ban on gay people giving blood donations, which was good because there have been a lot of ads where they're like, give blood, our donations have dried up. And so people thought, oh, this is good. And then people read the fine print, and turns out it's not actually been lifted. They just changed the language. So that's what Tyler Boyce here is talking about. So Thin Veil, asking everyone the same questions isn't groundbreaking because queer and trans people have different answers. It simply makes discrimination more invisible. Excuse me. Stigma, whether they call it sexual orientation or sexual behavior, queer men are still considered a high risk for Canada in the new regulation. PrEP. If you're on PrEP, you would need to stop taking it for 4 months in order to donate, despite PrEP being 99.9% effective in preventing HIV. Gay folks taking extra precautions are still more high risk than straight people. Undetectable. If your partner is undetectable, you can't have sex with them for 12 months if you want to donate blood. Love is love, though. Underfunding. Canada's HIV sector has seen its funding decimated over the last 5 years, and it shows. How could a behavior model have gotten approved without considering PrEP? How can this research be unavailable? Underfunding. That's why. Canada taking this step to not explicitly say that queer men are banned is to be demanded, not applauded. It's not an end to the ban, it's common sense. Queer and trans activists brought us to this milestone. It's our activism that will get us to the next milestone on this journey to end the blood ban. Let the activists lead. Follow Enchant Network to get connected with the trans and LGBTQ plus organizations driving this work locally. Follow Ty Boyce, this guy, or no, a different Boyce, to get connected with the Black queer consultants embedding anti-racism into this work meaningfully. Father Brigade, y'all have your mission. I commend you on your mission. May it be a success. However, real quick, right? It's like, yeah, look, we ended the blood ban, but they just changed the language of like, yeah, I know. So like, you're theoretically allowed, but here's a laundry list of reasons on how you actually can't. Or if you do, you basically have to not be with that person. It's coercion. It's discrimination. It's all the terrible things. But again, it's peak lib shit of like, we finally ended the blood ban, Canada. I just intruded after saying I'd do it in 2015. It took me 7 years to finally do it, but we finally did it. Gay people can now donate blood. Aren't I so magnanimous? And then people read it and they're like, wait a second, no, this is still around. But no, libs are like, yay, we did it. Mission accomplished. So yes, please go support the activists. They're doing the work. Help them, be the good allies to them, and actually promote it. Kind of what I'm doing right here. Spread the word, spread awareness, let them take the lead because they got this win. Now let's move on to the next actual win and get that good old activism going again. You'd think we were past eugenics, but nope, no. I mean, Canada's basically been built on eugenics. Let's be real here. Got to link us to the tweet then? Yeah. All right. Here's the entire tweet thread. Hopefully this works. That should be the Twitter thread. Hopefully it works. Let me know, everyone. It's giving me a check mark that it was sent. So there we go. And then again, related to the blood ban, it's clear Canada's policies on blood donations, despite recent claims, continue to be rooted in fear and stigma, just written in new, acceptable, yet deceptive language. I'll link this thread too. It's got a lot more information. It's more scientific and analytical, if you want to call it that. And then we got one final story, but then we're going to end on a positive note because I know we all kind of need that. So there's the second, more scientific, analytical thread. But again, on the subject of gay people, found this out from the Ottawa subreddit. I think it was actually linked by someone else on Twitter. Social media is just like people recycling posts from different social media sites onto the different social media sites. So I have to do the stupid stop screen sharing and then share the screen and share the Chrome tab. Here we go. All right, good. It's showing up and working now. So, video from last night at 12:15 a.m. Every time I've gone to Swizzles' gay bar, there has been a freedom crowd camped outside of it heckling us. Do people know this is happening? It's been going on for weeks. I didn't go in. So, here's the freedom crowd. Yeah. It's about freedom. Good evening, Zach. We're just nearly wrapping up, actually. Bothered, are you live streaming weekly or on a regular schedule, Twitch, YouTube? Not sure yet. I am going to try and stream more regularly on Mondays, but I'm also not committing myself to like a solid schedule between time because I know work, real life stuff. But I'm hoping that, you know, now that everything's kind of settled more with roommates and their schedules, that this can be a more regular thing. But yeah, that's, you know, it's freedom to harass gay people outside a gay bar in downtown Ottawa, apparently. Yeah, real good people. It's totally about the mandates and about, you know, freedom. And I refuse to live in fear, which is why they're harassing people just trying to live their lives. Also, notice how they're waving, you know, an American flag as well, because freedom. Yeah, freedom. I like harassing gay people. You can't stop me. And if you do, that's a violation of my rights somehow. I have the freedom to be a petulant jackass. Like it is so incredibly frustrating. And there it is for all people to see. But, you know, it was a peaceful protest. It was about freedom and the bikers and the vets, with like the recent one in Ottawa and the original, the OG Freedom Convoy back in February. You know, that was about the mandates, ending the mandates. And even though most mandates, if not all mandates, are gone at this point, what do you mean? We still got to protest freedom because, you know, I still have to be vaccinated to get a plane to travel internationally. So I'm going to protest out front of a fucking gay bar because freedom. Like, all of these people have micro penises and have never satisfied their partners in bed. I can guarantee it. Absolute unhinged shit. But like, again, we're near the end here because I did want to wrap up by around 9:00. So we are going to watch a quick little dose of, like, maybe not necessarily happiness per se, but something good and funny. So hang on, I want to get it set up here. So I'm going to stop screen sharing for a hot second. Need to get to the window. No, that's not you. Come on. This should be fine. Oh, for God's sake. Okay, hang on. Never mind. One moment. Apologies for the delay. Like I said, this is a scuffed stream. Come on, I found it earlier. Or maybe I like saved it on Twitter, but eh. Yes, all right. Oh wait, no, shoot. This might get no. I just realized it's a song. It might be copyrighted. I know the band themselves are pretty cool about this, but it might get part of the stream silenced. So maybe that's not it. You know what? Screw it. You're only young once. I don't know if people remember the band Chumbawamba with the "I got knocked down, but I got up again. You're never going to keep me down." They have a song that, in my opinion, is the song all leftists should know and take to heart. And so we end it on this note. Hopefully I don't get banned for streaming. This is a very short exercise. So yeah, here we go. Let me share the screen. This setup, this restream thing, not exactly a huge fan of it right now. But okay, here we go.
Thank you. Das ist ein Antifaschismuslied und dieser nächste ist auch ein Antifaschismuslied. Wir sind immer noch ein Antifaschismusband.
There we go. Hopefully, you know, it's not the end of stream demonetizing everything. Take that to heart, you know, have fun while you're fighting fascists. You know, remember the history, remember that the fight continues. And already clearly, based on everyone that is here right now and who came in and popped up or was just lurking throughout this stream, clearly we saw a lot of, you know, shared love and support for our comrades in chat. This is how we ultimately win, right? By, you know, communicating and being kind to one another and supporting each other, doing the good work, and, you know, fighting fascists in this way by building community and fighting back that way. Because unfortunately, we all know the cops are going to side with the bad guys, right? So again, thank you all so much for joining me on this very scuffed and incredibly dystopian 3+ hour stream. Oh my God. But thank you all for being here. Whether you just got here a few minutes ago, you've been here since the start, you were only there at the start. Once again, I know I sound like a broken record with this stuff, but your support well and truly means the world to me. I can't believe I had like even more than 10 people on this at any one point in time. You're all awesome. You're valid. Thanks for being here, for showing support to your comrades in chat, and for powering through this, learning stuff. Take that energy, move it forward. And I hope everyone has a fantastic rest of their Monday evening. And I hope everyone has a fantastic week. Thanks again for tuning in. But the fact that we had like 40 stories from a month to basically do this whole 3-hour stream, and that, you know, that's like several missed Sunday sum ups. Oh yeah, that's definitely what was bothering me today. Good night, everybody.